before pool. So a laser going to take a roll of the dice here in this game. Was this... I really thought as though a laser had gone hatch gas pool. Was I just completely incorrect? Did I see this wrong? Was I just not paying attention? I really thought this was hatch gas pool. I think I saw hatch gas... I really don't know. Now I'm doubting myself, but... yeah, that is strange. I mean, it definitely is double hatch before pool. So apologies for that, guys. A laser with a very different build then. Definitely rolling the dice, but so far Sue not looking to be the aggressor, and so a laser's going to get away with it with a blinking speed that's about 15 to 20 seconds behind. It's definitely not the end of the world. It's definitely very playable, as we're just going to be seeing this drone moving up to the third base. Sue also going to take a triple hatch here. So in the end, I mean, a laser will take a slight economic advantage. Well, Sue will have a slightly faster link speed to maybe make up for that a little bit, but obviously basically a laser rolled the dice, gambled slightly, and was going to be, you know, benefited from that. You know, if Sue had gone for something like a 13-12, the laser would have been in quite a lot of trouble, so... You're not going to be seeing again the Banelin nests on the way up from both sides. Sue's will be that little bit faster, just naturally with the way that these build orders work out here. And you're just going to be seeing a few more Zerglings on the way up. With link speed on either side. So link speed coming up on either side, and I was going to double check on the stream whether a laser did start a gas. I just really feel as though he did start like a gas in a pool or something, but maybe I was just so... No, he did! A laser went hatch gas and a pool. Did he cancel? No, he can't. Oh, wow. Okay. So, okay, I just confirmed it by watching my stream back. The benefit of delay as Sue's getting ready to be aggressive. He did go hatch gas, but then he cancelled the gas and he had the drone in position to make a spawning pool here, but he actually pulled that down to make the hatchery instead. So he actually completely changed his playstyle on the fly there. Wow. Maybe it was something to do with the Overlord Scout coming in. Either way, that's at least I wasn't imagining things because I was so sure he had taken a gas. That was very interesting. As you're going to be seeing these couple of Rotorons on the way up. As we do see Lings and a couple of Banes here from Sue just sat out the front. Some Queens poking away and pushing those Zerglings up to the top side. Just going to be seeing the +1 missile attack from Sue on the way up as well. So he's not really overcoming, just some very light pressure of the initial Ling Bane. As he is still going to have a couple of Banes here. Laser's not had the best day when dealing with Banelings, honestly, so far. As one Baneling gets taken down, it is going to be these Queens picking off that Overlord. So Laser gets himself an Overlord kill, and something which Sue will have to rebuild here in the next couple of moments, as he will again have that faster +1 missile attack upgrade to work with. His lair currently about halfway done, and as his lair is about halfway done, he's adding on 10 extra drones as well, so a whole bunch of extra workers coming up here at the moment. 2 extra extractors from a Laser, whose own work play has not actually seen an evolution chamber being made use of just yet. The Evo chamber's there, he's got a lot of gas. Kind of feels like he maybe doesn't actually want to use it here. So I guess we'll see in the next couple moments as Queens gather up, Lings and a Bane gathering together. I'm just going to be having the +1 missile attack upgrade is just now halfway done. And that lair about to finish. So what's he going to do with this? Because obviously it's not going to be a roach speed or roaches because he would have used the Evo chamber already. Surely with this much gas? I mean, he's got so much gas though. It is roach speed. Is it a Nidus or something? I just can't imagine why he wouldn't start +1 attack. Does he not know he's got an Evo chamber? This is very weird. I just don't really have an answer for it. You're going to see those Lings do pick off a creep tumor at least before just scaving out of there, and the Queen's able to keep on pushing that Overseer back away through the center of the map then. So that's going to be pushed away, and Sue will not be able to just stick around forever. Carapace upgrade and Burrow coming on in. I think he just didn't realize he had this upgrade, or this evolution chamber on the low ground, or if he did, he's just still not making use of it because he started an entirely new Evo chamber, which he then started to upgrade from right away. It just doesn't quite make sense. Just doesn't quite make sense. As you can see, that roach speed is on its way up. Just going to be seeing more roaches and ravages on the way through then from a laser. I mean, he's spending a lot of his gas now, and he just has so much gas, as he's going to be starting to put that to use here by morphing in those ravagers. I mean, I guess the burrow will be interesting. He's going to throw down a Hydralisk Den as well. Very intrigued. Going to see those Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers. Going to start pushing in from the top side of Su, so he's actually ready to fight with his +1 attack. His, well, Laser's Roach Speed just finishes. His extra Ravager's going to finish up too, but Su just seems to have a little bit too much perhaps right away, as we're just going to be seeing him pushing down to the south side. Corrosive Bowels causing these units to kind of back away, jump away, and again going to re-engage once more. As again, a couple more Corrosive Bowels coming in. Just going to see those Roaches and Ravagers continue to push on forwards here for Su, continue to come on into this fight, and he might just have a little bit too much right now. He might just be able to push through a laser and actually just take the series with a clean sweep, and there it is, 3-0. Su takes it without dropping a map. Alright, GG's, well played. And as we're going to be continuing on with our series then in just a few moments' time. A couple of people asking about what happened in Group A, a little bit of confusion, just to clear up. Nurture finished in first place of Group A. He basically he got a walkover special, which gave him the result, which kind of tied everyone up. Then in our tiebreakers, Nurture won out 2-0 over the other players, and he was able to advance in first place, which is why Laser finished in second place and is playing Su, or was playing Su, until just now, where Su has been eliminated. Su has eliminated a Laser, and Su is in our semi-finals. So, just replying to Su here quickly so he knows what time to show up tomorrow. And that's going to be that. So Su is our first semi-finalist, the champion of the previous map contest tournament. Well, what a god he has been right now. And he's going to be playing against Solar, who was knocked out, I believe, by Su. Well, he might be playing Solar. It's very likely if Bly, because Bly was not very confident. I've got in my head that Bly's going to lose because Bly was messaging me. And he really isn't very happy that he got Solar as his opponent. But very likely Su plays Solar in the semi-finals, which would be a repeat of our map contest tournament number 1, which would be pretty cool. Now coming up next, we're going to swap up to the top side of the bracket for Nurture versus MMA. So we're going to be setting up for that. And we're going to be going into it in just a few moments' time. So that TVZ best of 5 coming up in a few moments. This should be awesome. MMA was playing fantastic the other day. Really excited to see what he can bring out here. I mean, when he played in the groups, he took a map off Su in commanding fashion. He had a lot of trouble against Roach All-Ins, but I'd be surprised if Nurture threw more than one at him in the series. But there's only one way to check that for sure, and that's to go into the series. And the best way to get into that is to take this quick break. Let's get the video started, and we'll be back for that Nurture versus Su matchup in just a few moments. Nurture versus MMA, sorry, got Su on my mind. Who doesn't? Hello, how are we doing? Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. It's the Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament number 2 by Wardy TV, sponsored by Blizzard. Big shout out to Blizzard for continuing to put on the map contest tournaments and the map contest itself. They do sponsor it to allow for all of these maps to get played and found, and they eventually make it into ladder sometimes. You know, the entire map pool right now is made up of Team Liquid Contest number 9 maps, so these could be the maps of tomorrow coming on in. As we have got our players in the chat channel, we're going to be off and away with this in just a few moments' time. MMA versus Nurture. Now, Nurture versus Parton was a bit of a classic, but MMA Nurture, wow, I mean, that's a little bit of a classic as well. I mean, again, two players who were just so very good way back when. Both kind of teammates of the past as well. You know, these guys used to both be on Team Acer, remember? So they really were kind of teammates of the past, and it's actually a crazy record that they have against each other. Nurture has played against MMA one time, and that was in the recent years since MMA returned, and that was in Shoutcraft Kings, and he did pick up the win there. That really was just when MMA had come back from his military service, but in the past, historically, MMA is dominant over Nurture. I'm just going to read off all of their results since 2012. 2-0, 3-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-1, 3-1, and then 3-2 was the last time MMA played Nurture in the Home Story Cup playoffs just before he went to military service in 2015. So Nurture's, you can kind of see the progression of Nurture getting better and better, eventually picking up a win as MMA returns, and well, we will see just what happens here in this series as we get ready to go in just a couple of moments into some StarCraft 2 action. What's up? 47 is with the Cheer 100 in the chat. Thank you so much for the Cheer 100. And also Robin G 00. Thank you so much for the Cheer 100 as well. Cheer 100's back to back. Thank you so much, guys, for the 200 bits combined. Do appreciate some love in the chat, please. What bit cheerers. Appreciate it. We've got a long way to go, though, to get rid of Papa Mitch as the bit boss. He's asserted dominance in the bit boss department for today, it seems. As MMA, Vito's Lost and Found is his first map, Vito. So, Lost and Found will be Vito Fracture, vetoed by Nurture. Already looking as though we might get some interesting maps here in this series. We'll wait to see what the next video is going to be as well. Currently remaining in the map pool, Artana, Arashi, Treachery, 16-bit, Dreamcatcher, Cyberos Relay Station, and... Oh. I'm not very clever. I've put Lost and Found in the map pool twice. Sorry, my bad. I was getting a bit confused there. I was like, huh? And I realized there was a little bit of a mistake. What's up, LSB Bar, coming in with the 3-month resub, literally taking the name to heart with the woof in the comment. Thank you so much for the 3 months. Can someone explain why Beyond is out? Beyond did not want to play today, and so he forfeited from the tournament last night, and we managed to replace him. So he was replaced by Mana, who finished 3rd place in the group that Beyond did advance out of. As we are going to be hopefully going into this momentarily to continue on along. What's up, Joey, my man? Nice username. The god of everything. Well, maybe not everything, but a lot of things behind the scenes in StarCraft 2 and all your funny gifs and things. Coming in with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub, mate. Welcome back to the Wardy family. Do appreciate it, mate, and hope you're having a good time moving into your new place. As we do just start these videos again with the new map order that I have set up. It looks as though they're going to stick to the videos, though. So, all good. Alright then. So just getting this set and ready to roll, guys. Going to be into game in just a few moments' time between MMA and Nurture. What is EVT we've got coming up for you all here? Best of 5 action in the quarterfinals of the Wardy TV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament number 2. What's up, Ghoulie HS, coming in for the Twitch Prime sub for 3 months in a row, saying we're back again. Welcome back once more. Thank you so much for the 3 months of love from the Twitch Prime. Do appreciate it. Get some more love in the chat for all these resubs and subs coming on through. Alright, 16-bit, sorry, Artana video does the final map here from Nurture. That one does catch me. Oh, sorry, by MMA. Okay, interesting. And then 16-bit by Nurture. Interesting. I feel as though Nurture 16-bit is a better Zerg map than a Terran map. I feel Artana has actually been one of the maps that's given us some really great games along the way as well. Anyways, MMA to pick the first map now. So we'll see what is remaining then. His first map pick is going to be, well, actually we have some very interesting maps remaining. Cyberus Relay Station, Dreamcatcher, Treachery, Arashi, and Blue Shift. Well, Blue Shift is perhaps the most standard of all of these. Treachery is super kind of split map possibility. Dreamcatcher is pretty large. Blue Shift is going to be first. That makes a lot of sense. It's a map which really is probably the most standard of all. Well, actually, Blue Shift maybe gave us one of the best games of the tournament as well so far. There's been a lot of good games this event, but Blue Shift on MMA versus Uthermal was one hell of a TVT. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. So we're just going to be jumping into our next game in a moment. Into Blue Shift. We're just getting that host, but I just want the players to fully pick that map. Well, the Cyberus Relay Station for map 2, the map we haven't seen very much of. It's the least played map so far in this event and made by Octomologists. So we're going to be seeing that for map 2 here today. So that's going to get a play guaranteed, which is always great when the least played map so far is guaranteed to get played. Obviously, once you get into these best of 5s, sometimes you get unlucky. The maps just don't get played as Cyberus for map number 2. Now the remaining maps, Dreamcatcher, Treachery, and Arashi. Just going to ask MMA what his third map pick is going to be. Who else are we just missing from the lobby? A Mill. Got a Mill in here as well. And again, hopefully not be far off getting going to continue on along. What's up? Venison with the cheer 120 in the chat. Continue to be a bit of a god today, apparently. Is not happy with just the earlier $20 donation that he threw into the chat and the earlier 74 bits as well. Venison, thank you so much for the cheer 120, mate. Do appreciate the bits. Thank you very much. Get some love in the chat, please, for Venison as well, with those bits coming through. As we are just buying ourselves a few minutes here, guys, as our players complete their vetoes and map order, just so we have everything set up so that once the games do begin, there shouldn't really be any delays going from game to game. So just waiting on the players to finish up their vetoes at the moment, and we'll be off back away into this. Arashi for map 3. Wow, we really do have quite the interesting set of maps here for this map pool, and the order of them as well. Just going to double check what Nurture wants as his fourth map, Dreamcatcher or Treachery. The other will of course be the final map if it's required. As we're just going to get this set up once again. Hopefully should just be another moment or so and we'll be away into this. So far we've done a pretty good job of keeping all the maps kind of played a similar amount, as it is going to be Treachery 4th and Dreamcatcher 5th if required. So, perfect. Alright. Players are ready, and we are ready, which means we can go right into game without having to delay at all. So let's jump into game number 1. TVZ Best of 5 MMA versus Nurture. I'm super excited because this is one heck of a matchup. MMA was always one of my favorite all-time favorite players, basically. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's jump into Blue Shift here for map 1 of this series. Alright then, so we're going in game and we are starting to the upper right hand side of the map where we do have our blue Zerg player. Sponsored by Red Bull, but currently teamless, it is Nurture. What a run it would be for him after a difficult group that he just squeezed on through there, through those tiebreakers early today. What a difficult group. And then into this playoff match now. What a run it would be for him to make semi-finals here. As we already guaranteed 2 Zergs in the top 4. Can Nurture make it 3? That's our question. And that's what's going to be hopefully answered very, very soon. As to the bottom left-hand side of the map, we do have that green Terran player, of course. It is, from Korea, MMA. The legend himself. Form is temporary, class is permanent. Some classic MMA quotes and moments, and I mean, how can you not love this guy? He really is truly just an absolute legend of the game. He has so much history behind him. Only so many players can say they've killed their own third base to then have Adra rage quit against them just moments later. He was one of the inventors of the Blue Flame Hellion era of Terran versus Terran back in the days of that MLG. I can't remember which MLG that was. Was it Anaheim or so? It might have been Orlando. I really can't remember which one it was. It was way back towards even the very start of my StarCraft career and when I started watching. So, interested to see how this goes. Intrigued to see if MMA can put up a fight against one of the European gods. He took a map off Sue the other day in a nice little macro game. So honestly, I think all eyes open because this is one to watch and it really could go any which way in the coming moments, as we do see already a Reaper from MMA. We'll start to head out onto the map. And is going to be looking to just see if there's anything intriguing in the early stages. Now, of course, he's going to be a little bit cautious here. I'm afraid perhaps in case it was a pool first build or then there's some Zerglings coming his way. He's actually going to keep his Reaper pretty close to home, even though he's got a Marine out as well. This Marine could poke this Overlord away a little bit. And with the Marine here, he can maybe send the Reaper out, but he's just been very cautious about it. As this Overlord doesn't even see... I mean, this is the thing though, MMA sent the Reaper away from this Overlord, so if the Lings were going to come in, they should have come in by now. MMA maybe being just a little bit too cautious with that, as he just sits here with this Reaper still at home. Netcho not doing much at all. Again, it was Hatch Gas Pool, so in the end there wasn't anything to worry about no matter what. But without a scout earlier in the game, obviously MMA doesn't know that, so he's just playing in case. He's playing kind of like the in-case game, you know. Well, it could have been something along those lines, right? Do you see the third hatchery from Nurture drops on down? So far, the standard ZVT build order for him. He on Blue Shift, a map which is, I think, if I was reading it correctly yesterday when I was looking back through the VOD, I think Negative Zero said this map was based on the Frozen Temple map, which I can kind of see, but honestly, I'm still just going to say this map really reminds me of Catalyst. It really, really does remind me of Catalyst in a lot of ways, and made by Negative Zero, the maker of Catalyst, does make sense. So we're just going to be seeing the couple of Hellions in the Reaper gathering back together on the bottom left-hand side, and MMA not being overly aggressive just yet as he goes in towards the Viking. We've seen a lot of these Viking plays in towards Cloak Banshee or Medivac later on. So much versatility in how you can open and just play TVZ in general right now, from bio play to mech play, from opening in one way or the other. As you do see again, the couple of Hellions and the Reaper coming up the right-hand side. They're going to be poking forwards to see what they can do. As this Marine currently nibbling its way through this Overlord, the Viking working its way through that Overlord as well, is going to get the kill nice and quick. As I love it. MMA faked out the... oh, look at that. He's going to play mech. Oh, awesome. Well, he faked out the Cloak Banshee here, and maybe even the Stimpack as well, right? What did Nurture exactly see? Let's just double check that. He saw both, so... oh, maybe Nurture... maybe that was actually a bit too soon of a lift. Actually, MMA, because Nurture did see the starboard lifting off, so you'll know it's not Cloak Banshee. But does he know it's a switch into mech here? That barracks lifting off the tech lab makes room for these two factories. The reactor will build on the starport. What we'll see here in the near future is going to be that 4-drop, which was one of the big kind of revelations of meching TVZ is, whoa, those Hellions I don't think were meant to go around that way. Maybe a small pathing issue there based on the fact that, I mean maybe he like clicked over here and those Hellions were just going around the top side or so. Interesting moment. Either way, what I was just going to say is the 4-drop was a revelation in kind of TVZ mech that allowed mech to become so viable once again, because it was a way for Terran players to basically be aggressive in the early stages of the game with mech, and then keep on being aggressive while they continue to set up, stopping the Zerg from just really building up into as many workers as they want. As MMA gets caught. Well, those Hellions go down so quickly. Nurture, he's going to lose another Overlord in the main. He might get the Viking kill in return. He does. Nicely done there. As MMA starts up the +1 vehicle weapons. No 4s just yet, but again, 4s and Medivac should not be far off. And again, mech play for him. Let's see how it works out. I feel it's a good map for mech. And a lot of the same, you know, for a lot of the same reasons that Catalyst, for example, is a good map for mech. It doesn't have kind of a forward 4th base, I suppose, that you could take. So it doesn't have that kind of like forward fourth base, but still has a set of bases that you can take and hold fairly easily with mech, and you can push very easily with mech because of the, because of these pathways that are very difficult to flank on as the Zerg, and it's very quick rush distance as well for a larger army to move across into, if you have to leapfrog tanks, for example, it really doesn't take too long, especially MMA taking this pocket third base, for example. If he expands down this south side, takes this fourth base down here, he's going to be able to continue pushing along this direction, and, before you know it, he's already found himself towards the third base of Nurture. He'll probably expand up here for a fourth just to stay away from the Terran player, and there's that hatchery already being queued up as the 4-drop comes on the map. Now, MMA did lose a few Hellions, so he doesn't have many kind of to follow up from this, so he's not going to go for that big kind of Hellbat 4 combination. He's just going to go for the 4-drop on its own, and the Hellions are moving around the map on their own as well on the other side, just keeping things active and looking to try and clean up some of that creep spread, although the creep is already looking great from Nurture, pushing through the center of the map as well. He has that Zerglin there for vision too, so you can use that to push this creep further forwards. Overlords on the high ground might give him some ability to put a creep team up there as well and just keep that going on. But the 4s are in position right now, and they're already picking themselves off. 6 drones is actually quite a good amount of damage to get things going with here. So not bad to start. And this hatchery actually in a little bit of trouble as well. So already some damage really being dealt. 6 workers, half the damage of a hatchery going down. Very nicely done, as those 4s are still in a little bit of trouble. One of the medevacs goes down, so he actually loses one of these 4 drops. Meanwhile, the Hellions on the map are being chased, as you can see in the picture, by those Zerglings. They turn around to fight now. This one final 4 does get 4 more worker kills, and now it will back away through this right-hand side and continue to harass. Those Hellions are done as well. And again, a couple of them going down, but mostly getting away scot-free. As we're going to be seeing units just gathering in general on this third base, and MMA continues to build up. The loss of one of those medevacs is a huge deal. It takes away a lot of what he can do out on the map. It allows Nurture to be a bit more free. It's less damage that can be dealt. As we're going to be seeing those Hellions going to lead the charge once again. Have to be a little bit cautious here. Blue Flame coming up as MMA will see those Lings and Hydras gathering together, and just going to be seeing the Hellions continue to pull back here off of creep. Hydra's still pushing forwards too as that Overlord getting pushed away right now, and actually a supply block from Nurture, a small mechanical mistake from him. He would have been supply blocked even if he didn't lose this Overlord in the near future, so he needs to start those Overlords, and there they are. Took a little while, and that is something which can definitely slow him down a little bit at this stage of the game, as both players a macro game here to start things out. 74 workers against the 70. Army supplies are pretty much even, as we do see this Overlord with the Hydralisks inside going to be moving in towards the main base in the next couple of moments. 4 Hellions from MMA to the top left-hand side of the map, as we're going to see Lings, Banes, and Hydras are starting to push on through towards this wall-off, so trying to push this third base, but with a wall-off set up here, I really don't feel as much you can do. I mean, picking away at the wall is fine, as we're going to see a Hydra drop in the main and the natural, getting quite a bit of damage done here at the moment, so actually, this is going to be a little bit of a problem, as we're going to put that other Hydra drop over on the picture-in-picture, because we still have this main army out here as well. Those last few Hydras are going to start getting cleaned up as the other ones were. Only 8 workers lost in the end, and I really thought Nurture might try and do a bit more of this army, but apparently not, as that Hydra drop is now thoroughly cleaned on out, and Nurture is just going to be backing away. Only on lair tech though, and without being beyond the lair tech, he's really limited himself to what he can do. He's got an infestation pit, so he can build up into a hive as Hellbats dropping down here and starting to do a little bit of damage. Well, Hellions which morph into Hellbats. Blue Flame now in place, they're a little bit more deadly than before. There's 2 more Hellions still looking to see what else they can do, but chased away by Hydras. But just to kind of reinforce what I was saying, that hive was not building despite the finished infestation pit. And without the hive, you really are in this sort of position where you kind of can't keep on fighting a mech army. You don't have Vipers. Those are really crucial units to kind of play into the later stages. You need Blinding Clouds. You need Abducts. It's very difficult to fight it without those units, unless you have something like Swarm Host, perhaps. You need some sort of support for the Lingbane Hydra, and that really wasn't in play, as MMA moving out through this bottom side of the map. Meanwhile, Nurture's coming around the left-hand side, and so we're going to have a little bit of a split play here, as we're going to be seeing those, these tanks just continue to move on forwards, and meanwhile Nurture arrives in the natural, so base trade is going to start happening. Some Lings in the main base of MMA were just cleaned up already, as MMA not going to even siege up right now. It's got a couple of Hellbats in the main base too, and Well, bases are going to be going down on either side here at the moment. Nurture is already kind of picking away at the production of the Terran player. Well, the Terran player is going to supply block Nurture so heavily that he's not going to be able to build anything else anyways. Nurture was just building a spy. He definitely doesn't have the gas to really make much happen here. And some tanks, oh well, those Banes, generally don't want to be using them against tanks, right? But it was a decent set of splash. So it wasn't too bad. As the Hive will go down, Hellbats in the main are going to clean up as well. A couple of Spores are picking up some kills here and there. Those Overlords are still dropping, although Nurture's just lost so much. But the supply block is maybe one of the least of his issues at the current moment of time. You can see MMA lifting up his Orbital or so in that picture-in-picture as well. Continue to move off over to the side. There's just going to be seeing the tanks picking away at this hatchery. And actually, Nurture in general doesn't have much left over. He's massing spine crawlers on this top side. It's difficult to do against siege tanks, though, as MMA just doesn't know about that base. He sees the edge of the creep and he sees some Banes rolling in. Maybe that gives him the idea that he should push in that direction. Over here, just now, we see this base being cancelled and another Hydra or two just splitting up and continue to work their way through this. As MMA is going to push his way in. And again, spines are a weird thing to have in this base tree because there's tanks involved. And the tanks can definitely move their way through this army. Oh, this set of spines, right? So, an interesting scenario. 25 drones left on the map. Army supply for MMA is so high that I just don't think there's a way that Nurture truly fights that. We have one orbital here in this corner, which is going to go down. That's the last orbital. MMA does have SCVs, remember, though, and it is with the army as well, so you can build another command center, so you can eventually get back to mining, which limits the possibilities of Nurture forcing a draw who actually can't afford another hatchery. Nurture has drones, but he can only build extractors and so on. MMA has not rebuilt his base and has been revealed, and that's going to be the same story here for Nurture in the near future. Oh, he does have a hatchery down to the south side. He'd already queued it up, and that's why he didn't have the money in the bank. So this hatchery's already dropped down in the bottom left-hand corner. As Hydra's coming through, starting to work their way through that refinery. There's Hellbats, tanks, Vikings. They are pushing down through this bottom left-hand side. Some SCVs are going to still stick with this. I mean, again, MMA... Is that his only building, by the way, more or less? One factory which is going to go down at these heights. He needs to be so careful. I mean, I guess that's why the SCVs are here, so they can build a command center at a moment's notice. But those, I mean, this barracks is going to start taking some damage. It should stay with the army. As we are going to see, MMA finds this hatchery down here. He does start to build another depot. Man, but only a depot? That's so low in hit points. This is so risky here for MMA. He has so few... just anything, so little of anything on the map. Some SCVs are even chasing drones at the moment. Some Hydra's still stuck in this main base. He's going to have to protect this depot with his life. Oh my god. Well, if those Hydras come down from the main, that could be the play here, although there is siege tanks which are going to kill one Hydra already. I don't think it's going to be enough. Those Hydras are going to get chased down. Now they've revealed themselves. Hydras from the other side, and again, the depot will not be targeted for now. MMA is playing the riskiest base trade I've ever seen. He has no reason to only be on one depot now. He could be building a command center in this corner or a barracks or anything that can float and fly away. Yet he chooses not to as he continues to chase down Hydras. These tanks left behind seem to be enough for now. I mean, I just don't want him to throw this away because he doesn't like build that one extra kind of structure in time. Nurture still has a spore crawler and an extractor over here. He also has an extractor over here as well. This is something which MMA doesn't know the exact location of. Oh my god, he's pulling drones down. Well, this is where MMA is going to have to get ready to build another building because, again, if Nurture just jumps on this and MMA loses that depot, he's going to be in trouble. He needs to build something ASAP. The supply depot is not being targeted. The tanks are doing their job. MMA is okay. He's building a command center now in the bottom right corner of the map, so he's going to be okay. And that's going to be the game changer here, as we're going to be seeing these drones going for the depot. But the Hydras went down already to this fight, and that is going to be game. MMA says, hey, I have building, just letting Nurture know. And Nurture's like, no. Sad face. GG. MMA picks up the base trade victory in game 1. And he is here to bring us one heck of a series, it seems. MMA takes the 1-0 lead in this best of 5 with the mech play on Blue Shift to get things rolling. Game 2 coming up in just a couple of moments. Alright. What's up? Thank you very much, Cir0, C-I-R-R. Cir0. Thank you so much for the Twitch, not the Twitch Prime, just the normal sub coming in. Really do appreciate the support, mate. Can we get some love in the chat for Cir0? He also threw in the Cheer 100. Thank you so much for the support. Really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also, coming in, SC Box, coming in with the $8 donation, a Chinese-based donation, saying, Huang Zhudong said you're a nice guy, and keep streaming. Well, thank you so much for the $8 donation. Do appreciate it. The Chinese viewers are actually pretty supportive a lot of the time. It's kind of interesting to see. It's kind of something you wouldn't expect, but happens a fair amount anyways. As we're just getting MMA and Nurture into our lobby for game number 2. We also have Cabrera TV coming in with the $5 donation saying, get some love, buddy, keep doing you. Thank you so much for the kind words and the $5. And 47ers with the Cheer 100 as well. Thank you so much for the continued support, everyone. And let's see some love in the chat for everyone showing some love to the stream as we get ready for game 2 of this best of 5 between Nurture and MMA. Alright, let's see what's going to happen. I just love that he waited so long to build another building. I mean, in fairness, maybe he wants to build it in the right location, a location that's going to be safer, that he feels he can definitely defend. And that bottom right corner definitely was that for him in the end. But, man, he had me worried for a couple of moments. I'm not going to lie. My heart was beating. As we're going to be seeing the second game is pretty much set to go. So, if our players are ready, we can go into game 2. Cyprus Relay Station to continue on here in this series. Let's see how this continues. Cyprus Relay Station, another one of those interesting maps. A little bit of a rush map here to continue us on and along. And this one is by, again, Octomologist, and it's the least seen map so far in the competition. So great to see again played here as game number 2. Let's see what's going to happen. What's up, my friend Nima420 boys again in the chat, coming in with the 2-month Twitch primary sub, which of course was so much longer before as well. Thank you so much, man. Saying sick game, sick cast, love you, mate. Thank you so much for the 2-month resub on the Twitch Prime. Do appreciate it. As we jump into game number 2, let's see what's going to happen as we continue this best of 5. MMA leads 1-0 in the quarterfinals. To the bottom right-hand side of the map, our green Terran player. Give it up if you're cheering on MMA. And to the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg. Give it up if you're cheering on Nurture. Okay, then game 2, and, well, let's see if it's going to be MMA to take a 2-0 lead on Nurture to show us that we really do have a series on our hands. First Overlord begins to cross, and we look towards the early build orders, being very similar to the last game already, actually. Hatch gas pool, it seems to be from Nurture. There's that hatchery coming down. Obviously allows him to basically set up in towards a position which is going to be basically away from the... kind of pool-based play, which would, of course, maybe give him those couple of lings to be annoying with in the early stages. Alright, going to see this Overlord coming down towards the lower right-hand side, and just going to be seeing the initial build order is getting going with this SCV, getting ready to build a CC. Here on Cyprus Relay Station, now this is the map with my best and favourite rock, which I'm growing a liking to, slowly but surely. As we do have the Overlord coming through towards the bottom right side, of course, we'll begin to see this expansion gives Nurture that information that this is an expand, and not anything too crazy. You'll also see the Reaper moving out in the next couple of moments too. As that SCV is just building. Nurture sees it, and the Reaper, we'll see if it wants to actually go across the map this time. Bit of a smaller map, so maybe he does commit across. We have a Lyote on this map. Always fun to see which critters players, or mapmakers, sorry, do include here, as we have a bit of a sandy, deserty map. Some things buried in the sand here and there. It's a fun one, as we see Nurture already pulling his drone towards the third hatchery. Going to look to get that down nice and quickly as this Reaper moves in towards the natural. Just going to be seeing the Lings continue to take some damage. So obviously that Reaper just poking away here. So this map comes in the rush category. It's a fairly short rush distance across the map, as we've just seen with that Reaper moving across, and obviously maybe part of the reason that MMA decided to send his Reaper across, whereas he kept it at home on the last map. There's that lone Marine just hunting for the Overlord in the early stages, or maybe a Zergling or two. Either way, he's just taking back his own side as you see those Lings actually moving across. They're going to catch this Reaper. Well, the Reaper's not going to be there, and some more Zerglings from Nurcho means he is going to kind of put on a little bit of pressure here. He's looking for a few SCV kills. Let's see what he can find. There's not going to be a lot here right away. 2 Hellions are on the way out. Let's see if they're going to be out in time in the next couple of moments. And as we're going to be seeing them popping in the very near future. Those Zerglings continue to come across the map here towards the south side. This Reaper is going to be heading back home. I mean, that's a little bit of something extra to help with. His 10 Zerglings, I mean, they can do some damage if those Hellions are caught off guard. But it looks as though MMA is just so aware of what's going on. He doesn't even have SCVs left on the low ground. He's just looking fantastic at the moment. As you see that Reaper picked off the Leote, poor guy. Didn't stand much of a chance. A defenseless critter picked off here. Those Lings just still being so patient, just waiting. Maybe just waiting for the Hellions to move out onto the map, of course, a possibility. As soon as those Hellions come out, if those Lings strike, well, suddenly those SCVs will start to fall. So MMA very smart and very patient here to not commit a cross, aware of the fact those Lings are out on the map. And Nurcho, well, he's just testing his own patience as well as this Rotron will finish up. Doesn't look as though it's going to be an aggressive Rotron, obviously, with a lair coming through as well. But with this Rotron finish, we're definitely looking towards a Roach-based playstyle. Maybe some Roach speed that can be very aggressive and put on a lot of pressure. As you're going to see the Lings now moving forwards as the Viking does get the Overlord kill at the front. But again, Hellions are still here and they're going to greet those Zerglings very easily and handily. Plenty of Hellions, not enough Lings. A few Zerglings go down and MMA just straight away goes in towards the 3rd CC with Stimpack starting to build up on this tech lab. So Stim starts to build in the tech lab as the barracks are looking to take their places onto reactors. Interestingly enough, the starport building the reactor here, usually the factory takes on that job. There's a little bit of a different take on things, I guess. The tech lab still in the factory means he can maybe, if he needs to, build up that siege tank or so defensively. Viking just about finds the opening to get that Overlord kill as well, as the Hellions try to poke the 3rd base, but obviously don't find enough of an opportunity. Uh-oh! Lings do find their way in, though. This wall-off wasn't completed, and this will be a couple of SCVs at the very least going down. And now some Mules in trouble as well. Hellions are on their way back over. Looks as though the Mules will be saved, and the Hellions will shut this down completely now, but Nurcho, in the end, he finally found some damage with those Zerglings. It took him a long time, but again, got there in the end, and that is what counts. As we see Stimpack now halfway finished with those barracks finishing too. This bio play is really going to start rolling out. It actually works out quite nicely. Tanks are going to be up in plenty of time as the medevacs come out. Sim will finish, and there'll be a good amount of Marines to potentially push with. However, with Roaches coming across, Nurcho is looking to be aggressive. So even though he's going into Roach speed and +1, it looks as though he wants to get aggressive from the very start. Bunker's on the way up here from MMA, but they're not ready just yet. As those Hellions are going to have to be careful. They may want to try and wait for the Lings, which are flooding across the map, because that's where they're going to be the most useful. First tank does siege up and will be able to start working their way through the Roaches as they start to move forwards here. SCVs wants to get at least one of them onto that barracks bunker, surely to help finish this up. As we are going to see, those Hellions actually do help with a lot of the Zerglings, so that's a big help here. As this bunker is going to finish to the top side, so bunker finishes. Right now, Nurture, he's just droning behind this, so again, not kind of thoroughly committed attack, looking to kind of tech up behind this. A few SCVs killed off, bunkers forced, some damage dealt, the Hellions cleaned out as well. As we're going to see, this orbital has to lift up too, but in general, it looks as though MMA is going to be able to defend this here, and yeah, again, really minimizes the damage dealt, but Nurcho, I guess the big thing is that he's just drawn so greedily from this point. A nice little poke forwards as he continues into this Roach-based style, and I mean, that's the power of Roach players. You can always apply a little bit of pressure if you feel the timing is right, if there's that moment where the Terran is switching their production up. The Roaches are very strong against those Hellions. If there's nothing like a Banshee up, it allows Nurcho to move across the map like that, really. And obviously, it goes very well, as yeah, again, it's just a nice pressure play. A few units, apply some pressure, drone up behind it, his upgrades coming through as well. As we do have these two medevacs coming to the top side. And now we're going to see MMA starting to drop, and that is when MMA really can become the scariest player in the entire world, because his drop play is just absolutely disgusting. So let's see what he can do here as he boosts up to the top side of the map. This Viking did get repaired up back at home and is off on the hunt once again. Already 2 kills on it on Overlords. Well, these Overlords top side might be something he focuses towards, but nice defense from Nurture. Spore and Queens in location means this drop will not do a thing. Again, seeing a lot of these Overlords, and I feel like the Viking will start to rotate towards that top side perhaps now, knowing those Overlords are there, knowing there's some pickings to be had. The Marines unload is again, there's the Roach Ravager play continuing. Interestingly enough, beyond the +1 missiles, though, he goes straight into the melee upgrade, and that's because he's rushing up this Hive, looking to go straight in towards the Hive tech and in towards the Ultraless Cavern. It will allow him to hit his late game very quickly. So the idea is the Roaches are very strong early to mid game in swarming numbers, And so the idea is you build those up and use them defensively to be able to just hold on initial attacks while attacking very quickly into the Ultras, and to play out from there with kind of Link, Ultra. Eventually you're going to add a Banelin Nest on as well, as we do see the 2 medevacs continuing through the south side of the map, and these 2 medevacs of MMA, they're going to be unloading in the near future too, as a few siege tanks just continue to set on up. They'll sat behind this wall often. It just means that it's very difficult for Nurture to really commit to an attack across the map here. As you're going to see those Marines come in, pick off an Overlord, and now just starting to move back, whereas Lings and Roaches coming in really does just shut down that medevac play there. As again, the Ultras Cavern halfway done, so Nurture straight into this Adrenal Glands as well, hitting that late game nice and quickly, and there's not going to be much of a chance for MMA to hit like a 2-2 timing before this or anything, so he will really have to go in towards something like a, I guess just play defensively a little bit, start building up in towards Liberators in his own late game. He's just not making movements towards that just yet, and that is somewhat here what concerns me, as we see these set of Marines coming up towards the center, top side. You can see a little bit of a stim there. There's one Infested which could grab a Fungal. Obviously Fungals don't lock units down anymore, but even just slowing them can allow for a lot more to be done. He kind of dodges away from it though, and the tanks, you know, he's in safety there, so in a way MMA baits that out. The tank's giving him that cover fire. And scanning into the main base, he's going to see not just as the Hive done, but the Ultras Cavern is done and upgrading. And so now MMA knows that, well, Ultras are on the way. And again, sitting back may very well be the best way for him to approach this, because again, if he attacks with his 2-2 timing at the moment, he's just going to get run over by Ultras so quickly, so easily. Cleaning up some of this creep spread now important on a smaller map like this, otherwise it just feels as though there's nowhere you can move out to. As Nurture also pushing some creep up the top side. Getting that set up as well, as Roaches, some Ravages, this Infester getting set up. This Viking coming through as well. It's going to start to target down another couple of Overlords. I really thought this Viking would have made his way up here a lot sooner, but makes its way here eventually, and again has a few Overlords it can start to pick away at. The Creep Clearing Squad is back on duty and can just find the Queen there. And lifts up and backs away. Ooh, it's a nice Fungal Grove, and the Corrosive Biles do not quite connect. Wow, that would have been a huge pick off there by Nurture. As you're going to see Marines now instead going to unload towards the bottom left-hand side, though. They get a couple of drones, and they start to apply some pressure. Going to actually move forwards and chase drones down, finding a few transferring over. I mean, this is going to become 5-6 workers. In fact, even more as he sticks around a little bit longer. 7 workers going down. Nice, considering he loses nothing at all in this drop. It's still active, and will still keep Nurture at home, stopping him from attacking with the Ultra Force. At the same time, maybe Nurture doesn't want to attack. He's building up into the Greater Spire. The Corruptor's on the way as well. And as he sets up in towards that, it means that he's going to be able to get in towards a decent number of Broodlords here. As you can see that Overlord to the south side also being picked off. So as he sets up in towards a decent number of Broodlords, Nurture's truly going to hit his late game. As obviously MMA has been building up these ghosts for the last few moments. He's starting to get the first of them out onto the map, and he is starting to look towards a 4th base as well. Interestingly enough, expanding down to the south side, looking to push in towards the Zerg rather than taking this base away, which means maybe much more open to run-bys. One of the very frustrating things that could happen if he took that base over there would be Ultra and kind of Ultra-Ling run-bys every single time he tries to move out. And that just forces a good chunk of his army, sometimes even the Ghosts, to go back to clean that up. And of course, as soon as he gets over there to clean it up, Nurture just runs back away through this top side, and he gets away and doesn't lose anything. It just stops MMA from ever doing anything at all. By taking the south side, he kind of allows himself to push towards the Zerg base, so he has to keep more of his units here, and naturally that push protects this base at the same time. Obviously, you can still see run-bys into the natural and the main base, but it's a little bit closer to home, so it's a little bit less spread out here from MMA based on where he wants his army to be to attack, plus where he wants his army to be to defend as well. Medevac comes up the left-hand side and is going to be dropping in just the next few moments. A few more Ghosts continuing to come into play, as we are going to be seeing as Viking working its way through these couple of Overlords on the top. So Overlords are going to get picked away at here, and they are going to be taking quite a bit of damage. First Overlord drops, and the second Overlord as well continuing to move away. So again, Marines, not sure what they're doing up on this side. Nurture is just expanding all over the place, by the way. And something MMA is going to start trying to deny with these drops around the map. Nurture maxed out against the 160 supply MMA. He has such a scary force though, I guess, to push into. So many tanks, the Ghosts as well. And I guess the Broodlords would be very effective against the tanks in general. But even then, there's still the Ghosts to worry about as some more creep spread being cleaned out. It's a large attack over here, but again, because he's closer to the point he wants to where he's defending the 4th base / pushing to the natural, he's able to pull back and deal with it very easily. Again, if he was having to pull back all the way over here, It's a very different scenario. Geo is able to keep this hatchery in this position alive and going to be finishing. This hatchery had to be rebuilt in the last couple of moments. Again, tanks just setting up to the side, and you're going to be seeing more of these ghosts continue to come out as well. Final set of upgrades from Nurture and from MMA on the way. So those are going to be finishing up shortly, keeping the upgrade leads, or keeping the upgrades from both sides at a very similar point. We're going to see Marines, Ultras, or Lings, Ultras, Roaches, Corruptors too, just gathering together off on the right side. And again, a little bit of creep spread being cleaned out on the south as everything gathers together from MMA. And we again just wait to see what exactly will be next. There's another Ghost Academy coming through, so it's nuke time, baby. There's no reason to have more than one Ghost Academy for any other reason than nukes. And so it's time to start nuking around the map, as MMA and Nurture really giving us one heck of a series here so far. Gonna start killing off some of his Marauders here in the later stages, targets those down, and generally looks as though he's just cleaning out a lot of his bio. Maybe he's going to still drop the Marines around the map and trade them out in that way, but he really just wants to clean up a lot of his supply to be able to make more Ghosts. And well, he is actually making more Marines, so obviously he wants to keep those in play. Just doesn't feel like the Marauders have much to add to this. One of these tanks on Sieges and a Liberator will siege up on the left-hand side as well again. Another command center just setting up at the front here as, again, Ghosts, Marines, pulling back in towards the central position. Again, a couple of nukes on the way up, more command centers are building too, and the third upgrade on this engineering bay. This armor upgrade is going to be finishing the last upgrade which is needed. Love the Nidus network coming down from Nurture. That's something which will allow him here to later in the game start harassing around in different locations. Maybe some Nidus in the main base. Start pulling those Ghosts out of location for larger fights elsewhere on the map. Not sure about the Neural Parasite in the ZVT, but I'm sure we'll see how Nurture intends to use it as he gets it on the Infestation Pit. Now, he doesn't even have that many Infestors. One. No, so not really is the answer. As you're going to see, this first nuke is coming down. MMA, he's starting that nuclear warfare. And, well, Nurture waiting until the last seconds to maybe pull away here, and he does pull away. Is he going to kill the Ghost? He kills the Ghost, but he still gets 7 drone kills overall in the last couple of moments. And mostly from that nuke, which did just about come down in time. We saw a lot of nukes yesterday in the Optimus vs. Snoot series, and Snoot wasn't having a great time dealing with those nukes game after game. So good to see that Nurture's a little bit more on point with spotting them and able to pull away here so far. It's going to be seeing still these Ghosts continue to move on forwards. There's going to be seeing creep spread. A little bit can be picked off away at here perhaps. Another nuke on the way up, as we're going to see. Oh, the Ghost though. Whoa. Whoa. What's going on there? What was that? I don't even know what that death animation was, but he was doing the loop-de-loop on his... I don't know. I have absolutely no answer for you guys. It's MMA. But he's played a very slow patient game. He's now slowly pushing forwards. And the issue is he can't just sit on these 4 bases forever. As soon as he pushes further to the left, though, Nurture comes in from the right. I mean, one Ghost here, a couple of tanks in the planetary. Sure, it buys some time. Does it buy enough time? Nurture backs away as MMA begins to bring some more of his units back over to the right-hand side here. And we're just going to be seeing another Cloaked Ghost. Doesn't want to go there because the Overseers are around and available. That nuke is going to come on down on top of some of this army as he's distracted to his left-hand side. Some nukes going down here. Nurture has to deal with that right now. He's not moving that army. Okay, now he does. He sees it last moment, and that nuke will finish landing, and he will be able to pick away at that hatch. Just a little bit. But now the Ghost will go down, so not much else to be gained as Nurture. I guess, does he want to take this base? Is that how he's going to try and continue his expansions here? His Ghosts are going to get some snipes off. They just get the snipes in before the Ultras actually manage to connect. Cutting away now. He actually dodges the Fungal Grove too. The Zerglings go down pretty quickly, and now some more snipes. Going to get rid of the Ravagers and targeting the Corruptors as well. The Ghosts here defensively have worked wonders, and it is going to start building up the efficiency of this MMA army. He needs to trade efficiently right now because obviously Nurture has already built up a massive bank, and he's starting to mine from just bases all over the map as well. And what's especially interesting is that Nurture focuses on mining this left-hand side early, even though MMA, he actually wants to, focus on mining on this side of the map himself through the south side. So both players with such different expansion patterns here is interesting because this map, there's not many bases on the map. As you can see, oh my god, those Ghosts are kind of fully surrounded. They're going to go down. A big loss for MMA. He has to rebuild a lot of that very quickly. More ghosts here in the natural. They need to cloak up or something, but I guess there's overseers. I mean, you're going to see a few more snipes, and the Ultras goes down at least. You're going to see more snipes on the overseers, so now the ghosts could cloak if they need to. MMA loses a lot, but Nurture loses a heck of a lot as well. These broods are out on their own. MMA should be able to get some snipes down and kill off 2 of those, and those broods do drop. Some broods dropping pretty quickly there. Resources lost again. Stays about the same. So MMA still needs something just a little bit better than that, because you can see his bank's depleted, and Nurture still has 4.5, 5k in the bank on both minerals and gas. So Nurture still has a lot to play with. Meanwhile, MMA, he really is running out of money. He needs to do something here in the near future. Some SCVs going down. Ling's running by into this mineral line. There was some of these SCVs that were long distance mining as well. As MMA is maybe going to decide to take this right hand side base instead. But obviously he just leaves this base to get picked off. So he's kind of taking a fresher base, but sacrificing the base that was still mining for it. That's not really ideal, as MMA's worker count dropping quite dramatically now. 17 workers lost to CC, even going to be burning. I mean, I'm not sure if MMA gets a few SCVs there in time to actually repair this. He has another orbital. I mean, he has a lot of orbitals around the map, as he just needs to clean up this burrow Zergling at the moment, causing him some issues in landing. Ghosts again have to be somewhat careful. They do deal with the Zerglings pretty well. Just needs to not get surrounded too quickly, as you can see. Oh my god, MMA has so many units in the main that are just not coming out, and those ghosts get fungled, so they walk into the Ultra because their snipes get cancelled. That was disastrous. I mean, suddenly 5 more ghosts go down that shouldn't have fallen. It's a big difference, a big loss there. I mean, you need every unit you can stay alive, and it's little moves like that that will swing things in Nurture's favor. You can see this fight was much better for Nurture than previous fights. Probably also helps that so much of MMA's army was stuck in the main base, not being rallied out. That's actually a huge detriment to him. As Nurture just plays swapsies. Okay, this base lands over here, sure. I'm just going to borrow another Zergling where that base I denied was. And he just keeps that up, as we're going to be seeing more of these Zerglings setting up and coming across and seeing if they can perhaps achieve something towards this new orbital. A lot of mules here, and actually not really a lot of defense right away. Then we relied on a couple of siege tanks, which again, not really the best against Zerglings in general. You can see that these Zerglings are having the time of their lives. Eventually they go down, but picking off a siege tank and SCVs in the process, definitely not a wasted set of Zerglings there. As we're going to be seeing more units in the center. 21 minutes in. This is game number 2 of Nurture versus MMA at the moment. There's a couple of Vikings, 4 more ghosts on the way out. Alright, just going to be seeing another Liberator sieging up on this right side. Ling's Banes, the Corruptors too, still pushing forwards. Slowly but surely, Nurture's bank is being depleted. It was 7k against, it was 7k minerals and gas once upon a time, but now it's 3k, 4k of minerals and about 2k gas. So he's definitely running out of resources here slowly, Nurture. Surprised he doesn't have the extractors on this top right base, on this base as well already mining, because usually it is gas you'll run out of first. Just going to be seeing these Marines to the bottom side are actually dealing with those Zerglings pretty well. They push those away without much issue. That's a good defense here, as we're going to be seeing the Ghosts need to come back into play, but oh my god, the Infestors do grab a fungal. The Bane's rolling in as well. Some Ghosts left over, sniping down Corruptors. Needs to make sure he has the energy to still deal with the Broodlords in the latter stage of this, though, and he will try to chase. He gets a couple of snipes, but not actually enough to kill, because they're spread out across the Broodlords. Alright, well, MMA, he survives this attack. He's going to push up towards this top side. Ghost's going to try and lead the charge in towards this here. They need to be careful. Those spines are dealing some damage. He does pull them back. Marines pushing in as well. The Liberator is sieging up to help hold this position. I mean, Nurture just says, okay, well, if you're going up here, I'm just going to attack straight into your mineral line once again. Heavily oversaturated mineral line at that as well, by the way, because MMA has just struggled to hold more than 4 bases at a time throughout the entirety of this map. Cyrus realization. He deals with the top right-hand side. Maybe that's where he's looking for his next base to be. But again, it's a base that Nurture's already mined a little bit from here throughout the game. As right now, he might not even get to the stage where he's able to mine from it. His Bane's rolling in over on this side. A few more snipes trying to come down, but the snipes are being cancelled. The Ghosts being damaged. The Banes are just a little bit too much. And Nurture is looking to tie this series up 1-1 as he rolls on in with more of these Banelings. There's the GG. Nurture ties it up. And it is a leveled scoreline now in this best of 5, as we're going to be taking a quick little break here, guys. Very quickly, going to go right on into this, and we're going to be back with game 3 in just a moment or two, and we'll talk a little bit about just what happened in that game exactly as we get back in. But quick break. We'll see you guys on the other side of this for MMA Nurture game number 3.
smoke too much, I dream too much. I tell myself that I can't stop. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now. That I can't stop. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now. Clearly now. Clearly now. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now. I smoke too much, I drink too much. I tell myself that I can't stop. We could see clearly now. We could see clearly now.
Welcome back, everybody. We're gonna... Fuck me, they play us the wrong way around. Aye. Alright, couple of moments, we're gonna get that fixed up. And go again. Arashi, our next map here, so let's get into this one. Where is Arashi? That is down to the bottom. Get this hosted to get in game and see what's gonna happen. Alright, you're going to invite our players in here again. This time have them in the correct slots. Alright, let's jump into this and get going once again. So let's jump into this and get ready to go. As we are 1-1 here in this best of 5. Sorry for that, just had to answer a couple of questions. Just continue to admin as we get into this now. As we do get on into this. First of all, just very quickly before we start, just want to say thank you to Online Strategy. I don't know. For the cheer 50 in the chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate the cheer 50 and the 50 bits. And let's go into this game then on Arashi. To the top left hand side, our green Terran player is MMA. This map here by Avex. As he comes in with a rush map from the TLMC. To the bottom right hand side, it's our red Zerg player. It is Nacho. Alright. So getting into this and getting ready to go. We do just see Overlord coming up towards the top side, and Waiting to see just exactly what the initial build orders bring us this time around. Remember, so far we've just seen Hatch Gas Pool each game, and it's going to be the same again from Nurcho. Last game he tried to change things up just slightly, as he, with that slight change up, he basically kind of went for a few Zerglings to apply some pressure, but he wasn't so successful right away. I mean, he was very cautious in keeping units at home to defend. We'll see if it's going to be something similar this time around. Actually, interesting that we see 2 rush maps in a row here getting picked out. So cool to see. We actually have all 3 of the rush maps in this map pool, by the way. Dreamcatcher is the 3rd map, which is a rush map. That'll be played as map 5 if we get there, as we are actually guaranteed to see Treachery for map 4, and that's going to be exciting. The map by Young Rustler, which is really macro heavy and could really give us one hell of a TVZ. So looking forward to that as well. That's what you've got to look forward to in this series alone. And after this, we do have the ZVZ with Solar versus Bly. And then we are also going to be having the TVP between Innovation and Mana to wrap up the day. Just want to reply to you guys as well in the chat very quickly. A lot of people asking what happened to Björn. Björn told me that he did not want to play anymore. And so he forfeited his spot in the tournament. And we replaced him with 3rd place from the group which he advanced from. And that's why Björn is not playing here today. As you see, this Overlord is next to our big little Protoss cannon shooter. A little bit better than the normal photon cannon, but let's move away from that because it does make quite a bit of noise. As we do have these few Zerglings coming up through the center of the map. Going to be approaching the top side of the map in the next couple moments. As they push in, we're going to be seeing the CC. Going to start morphing into an orbital, a single Zergling going onto the SCV, and we do see the Marine is going to be there to protect, so I think it's not going to achieve too much. Meanwhile, the Reaper was actually, was it non-existent? Did it go down? Apologies, I missed the Reaper dying in the process of following that Overlord and watching our little cannon and talking a little bit about the map. But yeah, we do see these Zerglings going to head back across the map, so that's why the Zerglings, I guess, did originally move across here, because they got the kill on the Reaper, and it is this Zergling here which killed it. And then they moved across the map as a follow-up, but Marine was there to protect, and now we see Hellions on the way up as the tech lab is made, well, it's kind of emptied for this starport to maybe jump onto if he wants it. As we're just going to be seeing Viking and a couple of Hellions coming up as well. But Nurcho going into the Rotron once more, similarly timed to the previous game when he went Roachers. Obviously, last game we saw him with that kind of little bit of a Roach attack initially to slow MMA down, while also then just droning heavily behind it. So that's going to be a possibility here once again. It's pretty quick map to move through the center of course. So that's definitely going to be a possibility here, as that Rotron will finish in a moment or two. This lair about to finish, or start up from Nurcho, very similar to the last game, really just mirroring himself. We'll see how that continues. Even this Overlord, I feel, going down at the same time. As the Viking pops out, he starts Cloak to kind of fake this out. MMA is obviously looking to kind of show Nurture that this is researching. Is that, I just feel as though that was like maybe cancelled too soon again. Anyways, as you see, the Raven is on the way. And is going to be popping out in the next couple of moments. Thank you, Online Strategy DK, who actually says, the Cheer 1, says that his name's Online Strategy with DK me in Denmark. Thank you for the bits, mate. Sorry that I got your name so wrong, but now I know for the future. Viking going to get another Overlord kill, which supply blocks Nurture. As Roach is coming across the map, maybe that's the time for him to poke, but well, maybe it isn't. We see a couple more Cyclones on the way from MMA. And Armory coming down too, and maybe it's time for MMA to get back in towards his kind of, mech play this time. Cloak Banshee to follow up as well, or just the Banshee now he cancels, going into the Liberator instead. 2 Cyclones coming out, so the Cyclone Hellbat attack with a Raven involved. The Raven's what's so different about this. Euphemal likes an attack which is like Hellbats plus a couple of Cyclones, and then the Liberator goes into the main base at the same time. But this time we are going to be seeing the Raven. And with the Raven instead, I'm intrigued to see what he uses it for. Auto turrets perhaps? I mean, Interference Matrix, what would you drop an Interference Matrix on as a Terran against a Zerg? Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe a Scrambler Missile is a possibility. We're about to find out here. MMA is moving forwards. He's got the energy to do whatever he wants with this Raven. So we will see. The Hellbats morphed in. There is a few Roaches out, of course. The Queens joined together as well to help with this defense. It looks as though MMA is happy to just back away. And so far, just using the Raven to clean up some creep spread. I mean, that's a completely viable way to use it as well, of course. And again, just saying, okay, well, you've made enough units to defend this. I'll just back away for now then, as the extra factory's coming up. For the second time this series, MMA is going to fall back to the mech play. Plus one missile attack is on the way up here from Nurture. We're going to be seeing more roaches and zerglings on the way out. Just going to see this Liberator sieges up, and we're going to see a few drones going down. This zergling going to get picked off as well. Some queens coming in and going to be picking this Liberator off too. Meanwhile, the roaches though through the center of the map. Auditor is dropping down to help fight here. MMA, does he have tanks already up? No, and so this attack for the roaches and ravages could be a little bit deadly. This counter attack. Oh man, this is going to be a little bit rough. It's going to be the Cyclone going down. I mean, the Hellbats are trying to buy time out at the front for this first tank to finish, but it's just not even close. And MMA knows it. He has to type out the GG, and Nurture is going to take the lead in this series 2-1, showing us just how powerful the roach distance on this map is very quickly. Roaches come up, boom, you can get across the map in a moment's notice. If you find those openings, it's just what we saw in the last game and what we talked about as well. You know, that possibility of just players in general being able to, you know, if they play their roaches, it opens up opportunities, it opens up chances to, you know, find when your opponent is weak and to strike at that point and to take advantage of that moment of the game. As we're going to be jumping into game number 4, Treachery, here in just a few moments. This is a map by Young Rustler. As MMA now down in the series, Nurture is leading, looking to make it 3 Zerg players in the semi-finals. This is looking so similar to our last map contest tournament, which is quite amusing, as we're going to be just getting this hosted up, getting this ready to go, and we'll be off and away in game in a moment or two. Alrighty then, so getting everyone into our lobby. Our players are here. We're just missing some casters who are slow to join on me. Speed it up, people. There we go. The last couple of them joined in here right now. What's up, Online Strategy? How you doing? Thank you for Never Cheer 49 in the chat. Appreciate all of those bits, buddy. Got some love in the chat for Online Strategy and his onslaught of bits at the moment coming on through. Thank you very much. We are slowly together as a team, chipping our way through Papa Mitch. He's slowly taking some damage and being worked away at as the bit boss. And just as we jump into this game, I'm just going to double check the players already. I'd just like to remind you guys, of course, if you're enjoying the stream today, you can hit that follow button to see when we go live with StarCraft 2 content in the future. We try to cast here every single day on the channel as much as possible, so hit that follow to see more StarCraft 2. If you're enjoying the stream as well, of course, plenty of ways to support. As you've seen today, people are cheering in the chat, some donations. You can also subscribe, which gives you access to the replay packs and more. You can also, if you're a Twitch Prime user, subscribe for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just click that subscribe button, click subscribe with Twitch Prime, and once you've clicked, you're a subscriber, you get the replay packs, and more. So, all of that helps to help me continue bringing you guys StarCraft 2 action on a regular daily basis. But with that, we are ready to go into Game 4, Treachery by Young Rustler, the large macro-focus map. This could be a long one, as we have to the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player up 2-1 right now in this series. Let's hear it if you're cheering on Nurture. He's going up against the green Terran player to the top left. From Team Expert, MMA. I kind of wonder, if Nurture will look to rejoin Team Expert. They were previously, the people that run Team Expert, or the organization behind it, was kind of behind Acer Esports, which of course Nurture was a part of. It's why Scarlet rejoined them, Bly rejoined them. It's why MMA has joined Team Expert as well, I imagine. They have very good relationships with that team. So I do wonder if it's something that maybe Nurture looks at as a possibility now, or if they're even looking for more players. So you just have the Overlord coming up towards the top side. MMA will be going in towards his very standard Reaper Expand opening once again. I mean, the first 2 or 3 minutes, we've seen pretty much the same opening each game so far, so probably not looking to change it up just yet. Definitely time for it to change a little bit, chance for it to change a little bit later on. And just to kind of show you guys around the map a little bit, I suppose, then, while we're waiting, and why is this map such a macro-focused map? Well, first up, just straight up the size of it is obviously pretty decent. So you got this natural up here, and it comes out, and it's all on this high ground up towards the third base. And obviously you can basically hold these 3 bases with 1 choke point here and a ramp there. One of the easiest, very easy free base to hold. When it comes down to 4th base, all you have to do is move down this ramp, and all of a sudden you have another huge choke before anyone can attack into your 4th, and so again it becomes very easy to take a 4th. You've got a gold base, which is actually pretty well protected as well here. Okay, it's a bit more out there, but even still, it's very difficult to attack into, and that's what makes this map so macro-friendly. Just the ability to sit back and defend en masse, basically, and while having a lot of bases, is really going to allow these players to maybe really take us into a very long TVZ. Factory, as it finishes, is going to get ready to swap with the factory. Neither player really again switching it up despite the size of the map or anything. The Reaper is out, but is actually on this other side. The Lings are going to go across, and well, the Hellions should be on their way out soon, so this shouldn't be too much of an issue as the Reaper confirms the 3rd hatchery. So some good scout information so far. Ling speed will be finishing very soon as those Zerglings of Nurture going to be arriving up to this top side, and that fresh mule, that's actually probably the most annoying thing that could have happened to you for MMA if that Reaper out of position. He knows it's not worth pulling it back though. He knows his Hellions are on the way, and they'll deal with that in the near future. And so you're just going to be seeing these Zerglings nibbling away again. Some bits and pieces of damage. You're going to see one SCV going down, and oh, this is actually quite nice. That one Ling already pulling away to the side actually bought time for these other Lingers to get a couple of kills there in the end. So that's 2 pickoffs. Not bad at all for those 4 Zerglings just getting across the map, and the Reaper at that stage as well knows that Ling speed will be finished, and so he's going to just start pulling back as himself. Doesn't want to stay on the map because as Ling speed is done, well, what is there to stay on the map for? As this Reaper pulls back to the top side, and just going to be seeing these 2 Zerglings running in from the right. There's one Marine starting to work its way through those couple of Lings once again. Already an SCV going down, and there's going to be seeing this other Zergling going down as well. Still, Inertia really making the most of these very kind of low number of Zerglings, picking up SCVs here and there as MMA is going to play Bio here on this nice large map. So swapping, alternating between Mech and Bio every game so far. God, I would love it if you could take us to game number 5 and we'd see Dreamcatcher if we do get to that 5th game. Honestly, I feel like MMA, really in the last game that went Bio and late game, he struggled to take another base, and that's what really cost him in the end. He sort of ran out of money. 1 or 2 bad trades as well, but I think a lot of good trades along the way. And so I feel as though on this map, you definitely can get into those extra bases, which he was missing out on last time around, expand more, have the extra economy to play with. Now, obviously, that's going to be true for Nurture as well, but it's not going to be any crazier than it was on Cyberus, because Nurture had so many bases on Cyberus that he couldn't even mine from them anyways. So it's going to be a much better scenario here for MMA, who will be able to actually hold and mine from bases this time, perhaps. And if he's able to do that, it could have a much different outcome, even if the setup, the compositions look very similar going in towards the latter stages. Just going to see this Viking working his way through. The Overlord is going to get the kill here. Some 1 kills so far, as we see the missile upgrade coming through on the Evolution Chamber. A 2nd Evolution Chamber as well, dropping down now from Nurture to continue his, well, missile-based upgrades. Going into the Hydralisk Den missile-based upgrades, so maybe he doesn't quite know that this is... Has he seen Bio? Not necessarily just yet, so not necessarily knowing what this is. Going to be playing that Hydra Ling Bane style. I mean, does he have a Bane? Yes, he does. No Baneling speed just yet, though, right? But playing the missile upgrades, so going to be very dependent on the Hydralisks. We'll see how that works out for him, as that's not actually a completed wall off there. There's a slight gap that Zerglin was running through. Yes, MMA knows it, and I guess he'll fix it once this orbital moves out towards the 3rd base. So orbital lifts, moves off to the side. Going to be seeing 1-1 upgrades coming in through here still from MMA. Combat shields as well on their way up. Meanwhile, missile upgrades coming through from Nurgio back down to the bottom right-hand corners. And Infestation Pit will come down behind the mineral line as well. And just going to be seeing these Zerglings running forwards and going to grab themselves already a Reaper kill. Nicely done, as we see some Marines, a couple of Hellions, and a couple of tanks setting up also to keep on fighting here. Another couple of Zerglings going down. And still just going to be seen as a little bit of a push with Stimpack finished. Well, the great thing about it is that there's just enough units here to basically lift up in the medevacs and leave. You save 2 of the tanks and most of the Marines. You get out of there without losing anything. It's a good push onto the 4th base. Tanks drop down, they deny a creep tumor, and now they're sieging, and that 4th base will be in some trouble. I mean, Nurture's pulling himself around the top side, so he's going to be able to engage onto the tanks. MMA actually pulls back to fight this here. I mean, slow Banelands off a creep. MMA is just going to kite backwards, and so far the micro is pristine to make the most of this. A couple more Banes, he targets down. Oh, he misses a little bit. MMA was not really, obviously he's been away for a while, and when MMA actually left StarCraft 2 to join to go do his military service, he actually, targeting down Banelands like Beyond wasn't really a thing back then, so maybe that's something that's still relatively new to him, because that wasn't maybe as crisp as it was meant to be. Initially it was great splits over here, pulling back, he dealt with this bottom side set of Bane so well. Eventually he was cleaned up through the top side. I still wouldn't say it was a bad trade for him. I mean, the Medivac and some Marines are still surviving. He killed off a lot of units. I mean, every Baneland was used up in that trade. And that's, that's annoying, because if Nurture wants to be truly safe, he would probably have to make some more Banelands here in the near future, and that's going to take away from his Hydralisk count. Do have this Marine coming back over to the left, some more Marines spreading out as well. MMA going through the center of the map, and we're just going to be seeing the Hive Tech from Nurture going to be finishing shortly. It's not wasting any time with Hive this time around. He was a little bit slow with the Hive Tech back on that blue shift back in map number 1 against the mech play, which did hurt him a bit, but this time he's going to have Hive up nice and quickly, and I imagine the tech towards Ultras will be pretty quick to get going. More of these Marines down the right side as Lings run in, going for the surround. Hydra's coming in as well. As we're going to see these Marines continue to kite back away over to the right, lifting up into that Medivac, and again, just look at their creep spread. That's one thing that MMA has not done much of a job of at all throughout this game. He's not done anything to clean up this creep, so he really could be, or really could try and push some of this back, perhaps. So I'm just going to be seeing this overseer, just pulling a big end back through the center, gold base being taken by MMA, and, well, I wonder if he can hold that right away here, actually. Where are all of his units? He's got a lot of units just stacking up on that depot at the front, part of his wall off. Marines dropping into the back of the mineral line and into the back of this base over here, so MMA just doing what MMA does best, save Marines when the drop gets into a little bit of trouble, but otherwise dropping all over the place and starting to really deal some damage as he stems forwards. He's going to get some of these Lings running free. He might lose one of these Medivacs, but he does have the other. He's continuing to fight those Hydras too, and again, there is that one Medivac that does go down. This Medivac's been pretty much shut down as well, so good defense by Nurture, but again, still nice by MMA. He does get some pickoffs for what he lost there. Ultra's having about to finish Nurture. Well, one thing that MMA saw of Nurture, I suppose, is that he saw the Hive Tech, right? He knows this is over. This is finished, and so he knows the adrenal glands are started. He knows that he should begin preparing for the late game sooner rather than later. And so that's what MMA is perhaps going to set up for here. As you can see, the Queen goes down, but not before they gets the Medivac. But still, turns this into 4 more drone kills, and maybe even a couple more towards the latter stage of this here. 8 kills, wow, he doubled the number and beyond. 9 kills in total. MMA just finds those opportunities with those drops every single time it feels like. As 2 Medivacs load, they go over to the left-hand side. One of the weaknesses of MMA is he has been losing a lot of his Medivacs because of these drops, but, well, I mean, at least he's not Milton Liberators yet anyways. I wonder if he'd like to, if he didn't have to replace the Medivacs so often. I mean, I guess right now his Starport not even in action, so obviously he can't mean, he can't be too kind of worried about it. He's going to be seeing some of these Banes getting found before they've done morphing. You're going to see, ooh, some of them do manage to connect here. As the Marines have to load up in the end, and the Marauder going to tank the rest of the damage there. Nicely done, shielding the rest of that army. As we're going to see these siege tanks getting to work, picking their way through some of the Zerglings. The Hydras pulling back away to the right-hand side. Nurture not finding a way through just yet, and again, may just be waiting towards High-Tech, waiting for Hive-Tech here before he really tries to push in towards a fight. Those Ultras up, they do defend for now. Kindness playing about a finish as well, so it is timing for those Ultralisks to perhaps come forwards and to engage into this. Hydras are going around the right-hand side. MMA's already relocated his a little bit of his army to come in and fight those Hydras. Those Hydras are on their own, so they're in a little bit of a dangerous spot, and you can just see the stim forwards is already going to get a lot of them. And some Banes about to finish too, as the Hydras will turn to fight this. I just don't think those Banes are going to do enough. Too much bio, and obviously off creep as well. MMA is continuing to just do so much damage. Meanwhile, though, Lings is going to start pushing in, but those Hydras are now dead, so you can just focus on dealing with this attack on the left side, and well, MMA is just continuing to shut this down so quickly and easily. Those Ultras get pushed back. This one's going to fall as well. I mean, that's another expensive 6 supply. No way! Does it go down? The Marines chasing it! That 1 hit point Ultralisk is just able to survive. What a way for it to get out of there. Very nicely done. Oh my god, that Marine is still hunting. The Ultra has gone 4 hit points. I cannot believe it gets away. As you see the Overlord now going to get taken down as well. And MMA is still just pushing through the center, sieging up those tanks. Marines are going to split up, and here we go once again. And Echio is pushing up this ramp into this position as we're going to see a couple of these Ultras going down once more. That just feels like MMA has a bit too much momentum right now from that previous fight as he continues to push down to the south side. Another scan and some more of these creep tumors once again being picked away at. Another siege tank does siege, and we're just going to be seeing this hatchery is taking a little bit of damage here once again. Oh man, well, another counterattack up to the top side. We're going to put that on the picture for you all to see just how successful it will be. As meanwhile, this army is continuing to push their way through this hatchery. The Sling is not doing too much. 6 SCV kills a couple of tanks, but that is about it. There's just a few more in the mineral line, actually, which are still causing some chaos. MMA missing out on the response to that, meaning that he's actually going to lose 17 workers and still counting a little bit here towards the end. Wow, very nicely done here by Nurture. A large counterattack that pulls him right back into this, perhaps. MMA backs away to deal with it, and it gives Nurture some time to breathe, to set up more Ultras, and to just stabilize his position, which really wasn't looking pretty a couple moments ago. MMA just rebuilds 4 SCVs at a time. As you can see, his new 5th base is going to be defended so easily. More Ling's going to stream into this left side, which is just where MMA had this difficulty dealing with before. This time he just pulls the SCVs away very simply, nice and quickly. He's got a couple tanks kind of in range, and he's got obviously the bio coming back over to deal with this eventually as well. Loses a few supply depots, but nothing monumental. MMA, his defense is good, and Nurcho, he's bought himself the time to set up into more Ultras. Now still, he hasn't gotten in towards the Greater Spider just yet. As I say it, Greater Spider is starting in the production tab, so he's going to start getting to the next stage of the game. Until now, he's not been able to get into the next stage of the game because he has been under a lot of pressure, and so he's just been having to build pure Ultralisk basically alongside the Ling Bane to stay alive. But now he's got the opportunity and some breathing room. The Greater Spider comes back onto his agenda, and he prioritizes that pretty darn quickly. As you're going to be seeing Ultras, Lings, another few Banes back up this right side once again. Medevac again pushed away through the centers. We're going to be seeing these Lings, Banes, and Ultras again over to the right. We're going to see nice little multitasking here from Nurcho, hitting from 2 sides. It's gone a long wait for him. We're actually not seeing Ghosts at the moment from MMA. Instead, he's throwing down extra starports and a fusion core, so maybe just going to go in towards Liberators as his response this time around. It's just so weird from going from no Liberators at all on Cyberus Relay Station to now 4 starports to Liberators without any Ghosts at all here on Treachery, as we see pushing forwards. More of this creep spread being cleaned out every single time MMA moves on the map. Nurture struggling to replace it all of the time. He's going to lose some of the active tumors up here as well. And as you're going to be seeing MMA still very careful though, pulling back once again. Another tank will unsiege. He's kind of very centered, kind of choked up position works well for the Liberators and the siege tanks, which is so good at zone control. As you're going to be seeing this little bit of a force, which is clean creep, is going to get caught off guard, has to lift up and leave. That's the power of the medevacs. Well, now MMA in general might have to come back over to this right hand side. Those Ultras are moving into position. Liberators siege up again. Maybe just the Liberators in response to the lack of Hydras here at the moment, based, after they went down initially, never really being replaced. Infestors don't have fungal energy for another second or two. There it is now, but I would say already a couple Ultras going down, but look at those Banelings. Fantastic connections there as MMA has to get these tanks back in position. Now he gets them there, and they will start to fire away on these Ultras. He will be able to push them back, but man, that was a scary moment or two. And Ultras need to be careful with where they path towards right now. Nurture continue to come in towards the right-hand side. Going to be seeing, oh my god, this entire army of MMA going to be able to basically just trap these Ultras, so they are pretty much done for. You'll see a couple of snipes to help out along the way, bring them lower, and again, those Ultras, there's no way they get out of this, and they don't even get anything else on their exit run. They go down, so a whole chunk there from Nurture just lost out for no real gain. Obviously, they gained a little bit when they initially attacked, but getting themselves stuck in that corner, that really did suck. As you see Liberators start to siege up in mineral lines, doing further damage, keeping Nurture in a position where he's going to have to keep on replacing kind of drones. And this Queen goes down, and that Ultra takes a beating as well. And it adds up. I mean, even just taking a couple shots on an Ultra is now so much easier to pick that off in a later stage of this. Hatchery to the south side goes down also. Creep Tumors getting picked off here as the bio gets to work once again. Another Queen to the top also gets taken down as another Ultra runs on forwards. Marines and Marauder lifting up in those medevacs and pulling back to the right where the siege tanks were there to really help make this defense possible. Nergio wasn't even properly moving into this. He stopped for a moment, giving the tanks an extra volley before this army arrived, and that's a devastating loss for Nergio once again. A lot of Banelings, all of those Ultras bar one. Painful, painful stuff as MMA keeps the supply lead. A Ling counterattack will deny this orbital command that flew out from the main base just moments ago. So no mining, no muling just there for now. This third base is actually full of minerals that could be taken once more. Maybe he's just going to save those for mules at that moment, but I feel even just retaking the gases is something they should be looking for. I mean, maybe right now he doesn't need the gas, so that's definitely something we've got to keep in mind, but I would like to see him make sure he doesn't just give up on any use of this base at all. Alone 2 Marines to the bottom right side, unfortunately for some reason, are out of position, so they will go down. New command center in the top right corner. That's not going to last very long either. The Zerglancy of Nurture are able to run on in, and they are able to get rid of that CC nice and quickly. As you see, this orbital to the left-hand side is able to drop down as well. Advanced Ballistics finally on the way up. He's had that fusion core a while, but maybe he was just focused on actually just straight up just spamming out the Liberators to stay alive until this point. 18 minutes in, we expected that this could be one of the longer games, and it definitely has been so far. Not quite as long as Cyprus Relay Station, but it's getting there, and this one really doesn't look as though it's going to end in the immediate future either. Please no cast occurs. We're going to be seeing the planetary force here good enough to defend against these Banes, and actually should be the SCVs back there to repair in time. Planetary will stay alive. Very well dealt with by MMA, and unfortunately Nurture didn't commit enough to this attack to really be able to pick off that planetary. Need just a little bit more, a few more Banes to maybe actually get some SCVs, keep them chased away so they couldn't come back to repair. That club before that got picked off made the planetary real MVP, 25 kills on it. And we mainly focusing his army on the left-hand side to defend here. These ghosts setting up as well. Tanks moving out in towards the center too, and 18 Zerglings currently on the way up. As Nurture will be gathering. Again, only really been Ultras so far. Corruptors are now out, but it's just been difficult for him to attack up beyond this because, again, he was under some pressure a lot in the earlier stages, and again, now he does have a Great Aspire, but he needs to keep these Corruptors alive to deal with the Liberators initially, and then morph in the Brutals once the Liberators have been taken down. So that seems to be his current goal. We're going to see some Ghosts getting trapped over here. Bane's doing a great job of dealing some damage, because these last 3 Ghosts are just going to continue to be chased. They don't get a single snipe off at all. And that's painful, as you're going to be seeing. Well, Liberators continue to siege up to defend, and they will be able to shut down the majority of this Ling Bane Ultra Force. There's just units all over the place. Well, the planetary force looks as though it'll be good enough over here. These tanks are actually going to be able to fight these Ultras, and they will go down. The +3 weapons on the tank goes an absolute enormous way to keep them safe against the Ultralisks. Very nicely done to clean up pretty much every location at once there. MMA takes a series of victories, which are going to stack on top of each other. Maybe give him enough to push on through. Of course, if he wins this, he ties the series up, and we go to a 5th and final game between the two of them. Well, Liberators out in the center, looking to siege up perhaps once again. Just looking to try and find those Ultras out of location or trap them into a pathway, but they do have to pull back through. Tanks are a little bit slow to siege up here. Obviously, the Liberators have not started to siege at all just yet. So there's not a lot to fight these Ultras. A couple of Ghosts in the back are currently not sniping. And this, all of a sudden, from MMA, has become an absolute, well, atrocity of a fight. I mean, this was not what he wanted at all. He is picking off some of these Corruptors, which is something at least. But man, this could not have gone worse, I don't think. Ultras just jumping onto the bio. Tanks weren't siege. Liberators weren't doing anything. They were fighting Corruptors. That's not what Liberators are made for. Liberators, Corruptors are made to pick off the Liberators. Messy, messy fight for MMA, and suddenly Nurture finds himself in the advantage here. As going to be seen, this planetary fort is being targeted down by the Ultras once again. The planetary just got down. SCV is being chased away by this Ultralisk on the top side as well. A few more Marines coming in. Oh my god, why is he attacking his own SCV? I don't know. Drones are also going down. Liberators are doing good damage around the map to help keep MMA's economy in there, but now down 20 workers. A planetary to the top side also going down, and MMA, I felt, was so very close in this game, but in the end, he's just not quite been able to make this happen. As going to be seeing, well, the Ultras are just going to keep on rolling over this, and Nurture is going to take the series, but what a fight MMA put up. GG Nergio is our second semi-finalist here in the Wardy TV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament number 2. He will be playing against the winner of Innovation and Mana tomorrow. As our next series up though is Bly versus Solar. The winner of this plays Sue, and then after that Innovation versus Mana, the winner of that to play Nergio. So that's see what's going to happen. We're going to be going into this in just a few moments' time. We're going to be getting ready to go into our next series. I'm going to go for a round tip break because I just needed to grab a quick bite to eat to keep the energy levels rolling. So we'll be back here very soon. Bly against Solar is our next series, and we'll be going into that in just a few moments' time. See you guys after this break. Congrats to Nergio to go into the semis. Thank you for sitting for a little bit of a longer break, guys. I was just grabbing myself a quick bite to eat before we continued on into our third series. Got some shout-outs to make coming in from the very start of that game number 4 of Nurture MMA. So thank you very much for your patience. But Lumia4814 coming in from the Twitch Prime sub. How are you doing, Lumia? So thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub, Lumia, coming on in. Thank you for the support. The Proud UD alum comes in for the 5-month Twitch Prime resub as well. So saying, hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you so much for spreading the positivity. And Lucidity Dark for the 2 months from the Twitch Prime says, had to buy a plunger off Amazon today and wanted free delivery. So now it's a Prime sub. Seems good. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it. As we are going to be going into our next game here in a couple moments' time. Just waiting for the vetoes to continue. Bly to veto here next. And then we have our map picks going to be coming through in the next moment or so. So we're really just a couple minutes away perhaps from getting in game once again. Our third quarter-final matchup. We're now guaranteed 3 Zergs in the semi-finals. Who will be that third Zerg player to advance? Will Solo make it a repeat of the last map contest tournament where he lost to Sue in the semis 1-4? Or will he drop out here and Bly make it a double foreigner appearance at least in the semis? He wasn't very confident yesterday, Bly, when he was talking about this matchup, so we'll see what he has to bring to the table today as we get this going in the next few moments. Again, a lot of people asking about Bjorn. For some reason, every time Bjorn doesn't attend an event now, everyone's like, is Bjorn quitting StarCraft? No, Bjorn cancelled today because he had another event, which apparently apparently right now players just don't like actually reading schedules and stuff. But he had another event and he decided it was too difficult to play in both our event and the other event, even though we tried to schedule around it for him. So, yeah, unfortunate. As we are going to be going into our next map here in just a couple of moments. Fracture the final veto. As we're going to be going into this momentarily. Getting underway. What's up? The Nema coming in for the 13 months free sub, saying, Wardy, the hero of StarCraft. Thank you so much for the 13 months. And we're going to be going into this again in just a few moments. So, Solo says anything as his as map 1. So let's do Artana map 1. And apparently these guys don't care at all about the order they play in. So we're going to start on Artana here in a couple of moments, and then we'll maybe go into Lost and Found, or maybe we'll go into Dreamcatcher map 2. So we'll do Artana, Dreamcatcher, Lost and Found, and then maybe Travancore, and System Shock to end it. Seems good, because our players don't seem to care at all. Alright, well, let's go into this in a moment or so. Bly against Solar, game number 1 in just a few moments. Thank you guys for the patience between series, of course. Sometimes it just does take a couple of moments for players to show up and to get ready to play. Obviously, the videos can sometimes take a little while, especially when the players have to double check what maps look like and so on, because they're not 100% used to them, of course, in this event. As we invite our casters in, who are we missing? Not really anyone. As we do, I'll just give these guys a map order of this, just let the casters know as well. And it is game 1 of this best of 5 between Solar and Bly here in this ZVZ. So, getting this ready to go momentarily. We are just a couple of moments away from getting in, and there it is. Our casters are all online, so we can start to listen to that beautiful countdown noise, which is the sign of StarCraft 2 getting rolling on a nice Sunday afternoon. How's everyone doing out there in the chat? How are we all feeling? Welcome to the stream. If you're just joining us, it's the Wardy TV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament number 2. You're just tuning in for Solar versus Bly. Following this, it will be Innovation versus Mana. So getting set up for that. And getting ready to go. Alrighty, let's do this then. As we kick off into this series. Game 1 of the best of 5. Let's see what the players are going to bring to the table. As to the top left-hand side, the red Zerg player from Team Expert. We just saw his opponent, his teammate, sorry, MMA, falling out of the competition. To the top left is Bly. He's going up against the yellow Zerg player to the bottom right from Splice, Solar. As one drone comes down to the low ground, we'll start up that hatchery first. So that's going to be on the way up here already, as Overlord's just going to come on through and cross on by in the next few moments. The early game is not going to be too aggressive. Neither player being gas pool or pool first, anything like that. Just hatch gas pool a piece, or hatch pool on Bly's side of thing. No gas, so maybe he goes hatch pool hatch, but he actually does throw the gas down now. So a slightly faster pull from gas, slightly later gas from Bly, slightly later gas does put us in this position where we are waiting to see what will be the real kind of playstyle here. Do we see faster third hatcheries? What exactly is going to be the choice of play in this one? Bly vs Solar on Artana, a map by Iron Man. If you're unaware of Iron Man, he is a map maker who made Ohana back in the day. And has been tuned into a lot of these streams, of course, to try and catch his map being played. I really do feel as though the first couple of days Artana showed us some of the stronger games of the tournament. Unfortunately, he had a couple of cheesier games more recently, but we'll see what happens here on the ZVZ. As we're going to be seeing link speed starting to come up from Solar. And the drones just getting into the natural to start mining away once again. So, obviously Artana is a fairly standard map. That's the category it comes in from. You get down in towards this third base, which is on the low ground. Fairly easy to hold because of, again, choke points into it. Now in ZVZ, that's maybe not as much of an issue. Choke points for Lings, it doesn't matter too much, but if it gets to the Roach stage, it definitely could become a bit of something as Bly. We might not even try and let it get there already. A lair on the way for him in the main, and that's a very fast lair. I mean, what could we be looking towards? A super fast Spire is obviously one of the things that could come on. And if it wasn't a super fast Spire, it could very well be a super fast Nidus network. And then a Roach coming down at a similar time to kind of set up as, although he's going to let this Zerglin into the main base though, and that's disastrous because now information is gained. He saves this drone, which is very well done, but letting Solar see the lair, I mean, that just gives Solar so much information already about what's going to be going on. Bly is skipping link speed for this, and so Solar knows his third hatchery is going to be under no pressure at all. He throws down an Evo chamber, and Solar's just going to be like, okay, cool, well, you know, I've got a couple choices. I can either pressure with my link speed, but do I need to? As long as I keep you off a third hatchery, then I don't really need to, right? You know, I can maybe just make a couple of links to keep you off a third, but other than that, I can just drone, and now he's just going to rescout as well. Knowing the possibilities are there, he just wants to double check which possibility is going to be the actual commitment, and he sees that spire in the back of this main base. And seeing that spire in the back of the main, well, obviously that just straight up says to him, right, well, Mutalisks. From the get-go, immediately starts +1 Carapace, which is actually a really cool choice because obviously Mutas are going to be doing a lot of attacking, while Solar is going to be doing a lot of being attacked by Mutas, and so the Carapace upgrade will benefit his Lings, will benefit his Roaches when he gets them, Hydras. It just benefits every unit. The Queens will take more shots to go down, and that really will be a great way to go about it. And yeah, just that scout in general will allow Solar to just start preparing for those Mutas from quite a while away now, as we're going to be seeing this hatchery coming down in the bottom left-hand corner. So hatchery is coming on up. As we see more of these Zerglings from Solo, just setting up just outside, trying to run on in, as we're going to be seeing the Rotron and Evo Chambers coming up now, and Bly perhaps trying to fake this out a little bit, start up the melee upgrade. He's got Ling Speed and Lings of his own on the way through. He actually doesn't do anything with the Spire just yet. There we go, 4 Mutalisks on the way. Maybe trying to fake this up to Roaches, but it is going to be a Roach commitment actually. He does start at +1 missiles, so he is going to go into Roaches eventually here, cancelling that melee upgrade. And I'm just going to be seeing these Queens continue to poke their way through the Overlord, pushing it all the way back through the center of the map. So Overlord taking quite a bit of damage, and it will fall. Because again, those Zerglings just sat out the front to try and see what they can maybe add into this here. Seeing Mutas coming out as well, and going to be pushing those Zerglings back down to the south side of the map. So the Zerglings on the way back down to the south. This Roachron is on its way from Solar, who's obviously just been building Carapace. He'll be behind on the missile upgrade. And we'll see what he can maybe do about it. And of course, we'll see from Bly whether those Mutas are going to do enough for him to put him in a good spot here. He's got that bottom left-hand base, which he is starting to drone from. And that's obviously his kind of comeback mechanism for not having a hatchery for so long. As Solar is checking for a third and he doesn't see it, he's going to be like, huh, why on earth don't you have a third base? Because that's just not really normal, as these Mutas are going to pull back up top, knowing that those Lings are around, and wants to try and chase them back home. Roach is on the way up from Bly. 47 drones, and he might just be committing to a large attack here in the near future. Although he starts up a few more workers himself, so it looks as though he is looking to macro, despite what really could be actually quite a powerful +1 Roach speed timing, if he wanted it to be. You know, Hydraless Den's coming down from Soul, and if he overcommits into Hydras while Bly goes for a Roach attack, it will set him behind. It will put him in a position where it becomes difficult to defend the Roaches, because Hydras in low numbers, as you begin to invest into them, are just so vulnerable. And I wonder if Bly does commit into it now, because this Zergling is going to find the bottom left base. It's going to become very difficult for Bly to keep this alive, and if he can't keep this alive, I feel like going for an attack might be his better option here in the long run. He just finished up some Overlords. He's still got money in the bank, but that's the issue. It's in the bank. It's not already being spent. He's going to start burrowing... Burrow upgrade, Tunneling Claws, and the +2 missiles, so all of the continued Roach upgrades here. Bly, though, goes down to 2 hatcheries. 6 workers killed as well in that bottom left base, and now the 3rd hatchery, which is on the way back up to this top side, well, that's going to be targeted as well. So that drone does go down, and we're just going to be seeing a nice pickup here by Solar. Very nicely done, as again, the Mutas coming back up to the top, and just going to be seeing the Queen and a few Roaches going to fight their way through a few more Zerglings. There's more Roaches to the bottom side. Well, they're getting turned away without any success at all. Not able to break on through, and just going to be pulling back. And again, into the center. So, Bly backing away and is, again, not finding himself the damage commitment just yet. Now, yesterday we saw Solo in Group D of the competition. He was playing against Snoot in the ZVZ. It was the first matchup of the day. It was a pretty darn good first matchup of the day, if I'm going to be honest. But Solo really did just look a level ahead of Snoot, and that's scary for Bly because, well, basically this happened. I mean, okay, Bly, you know, Snoot didn't do crazy things like try and rush Mutas and then hide a hatchery and stuff like that. That's the sort of thing that's put Bly behind in this game. But the situation looked very similar, where Solo was just up so heavily in workers, so heavily in army. You know, he might have been behind on an upgrade here by a few seconds, but it didn't matter because he just had so much of everything else. He was just completely on point with his production, with his macroing, and that was really kind of terrifying to see, because I really feel like whoever meets Solo in this bracket is going to have a tough time, and obviously Bly is unfortunately the first to meet him outside of the groups. As you do see this hatchery cancelled again, and Bly still just being kept to 2 bases for now, unable to do much more as well. Solo, here we go. Roaches and Hydras push out into the middle of the map. They're going to be starting to get into an aggressive position. I mean, Hydra Speed Muscular Organs didn't even finish yet, and he's already pushing in towards this top side. Bly is going to have a small upgrade lead in the sense that he's going to have a missile upgrade +2 over +1 missiles and +1 carapace. +1 carapace is just not quite as effective as a +2 missile, so it's definitely a better upgrade to have the extra missiles. Bly is actually across the map. Maybe he can do something weird like base trade this, but he's going to lose the Roach Warren very quickly. He's going to have a Lurker Den finishing. He's got some Hydras hidden to the side. If he could get some Lurkers up, maybe there's a possibility. The problem is across the map, he's getting shut down as well. So he's not even going to do much damage over here. And Bly knows that the Lurkers are not going to be enough of a savior for him. He types out the GG, and Solo will take the first map of this quarterfinal matchup. Best of 5, Zerg versus Zerg. Alright, jumping into game 2 then in a moment or so to continue this on and along. Going to be going into the second game, which we will be going on to Dreamcatcher for. So let's go into Dreamcatcher to see the map. One of the few maps that's only been played 4 times throughout the tournament. So after this, actually only Cypros, Relay Station and 16-bit will only have been played 4 times. And then most of the maps have been played 5 times, just Blue Shift on 6, Parasite on 6 as well, so we're not going to be seeing any more of those today. But I think we've done a pretty good job of getting the maps to, again, just be played a similar amount all the way through the event. I think it's turned out to be pretty successful for us. As we invite our players and get this ready to go. Let's see what's going to happen as we jump into game 2 here in a moment 2. There's a little bit of a funny moment in the chat. Everyone is... someone just mentioned, Bly, are you really in Go for SE2 as well right now? Bly's like, yeah, of course I signed up to Go for SE2. I'm not going to give up my chance to play Go for no reason. So Bly, he's might be okay because, well, it depends on how these results go. I guess we'll see. I'm actually just going to have a quick look at the Go for SE2 bracket because we might cast that here a little bit later. Very ZVZ heavy top side. Then we have Soul in this next section. Showtime. That's actually a round of 8 matchup if they both make it there. Who else is up on this bottom side then now? Nurture did end up signing up. He said he might not, but he did. Liar. Braddock down here. It's an okay-ish Go for SE2. Obviously Showtime playing makes it pretty cool. Guru in here as well. Clam. Okay, so that's some cool players. So maybe we do jump into some Go for SE2 after. By the way, just before we jump into this next game, though, thank you so much to the Twitch Prime subscriber SET2. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you for the support and the love. Does help to continue for us to continue streaming as we kick off into game number 2. To the bottom right-hand side of Dreamcatcher, a map by Timmy, or VSG, he submitted this map as for this event, but also the maker of Catalina. To the bottom right-hand side, the red Zerg is Bly from Team Expert. And to the upper left-hand side, the yellow Zerg player from Splice. Hatch first on each side of the map, it is Solar. Alright, Dreamcatcher. A map here which is very much so just in general interesting. You can get these 4 bases set up very easily. You have this kind of wall off area, and you also have these rocks that can be taken down as well to create this blockade at the front. And then it kind of only leaves you with very choky areas to attack into, so it can get interesting. I wonder if we'll see this go past Ling Bane phase of the game, because if it does, it would be rather exciting, but could also kind of go very long. So we'll see what the players want to create with this right now. Kind of interesting, you have this kind of different sort of symmetry to usual, where the map is obviously symmetric from top right through to bottom left. And it's creates this kind of a little bit of a different effect, I suppose. And what we saw a lot of, well, what I feel as though we'd see a lot of if we did see a longer game on this is if one player expands up top, they can make their way towards the gold, but it opens up this pathway up the top where your opponent's going to be able to attack towards you. Whereas if you expand down this way, down to the south, you really start to just expand away from your opponent, or you become kind of cross-map from him down here as well. Yeah, very interesting. The bases are very spread out on this map as well, as we do see a difference in build orders once again between the players. Although similar to the last game perhaps, Bly is not starting up his link speed, although no left for him just yet either. Maybe he starts that up in a moment or two as we approach the 3-minute marker. Meanwhile, Soil goes into link speed, goes in towards the Baneling Nest as well. Just going to see the Evolution Chamber coming up on each side. Roach Roaring drops down as well here from Bly, and a couple of Zerglings going to be moving out onto the map. So he's just going to go straight into the Roach Roaring Evo Chamber lair. Just going to bypass that link speed, and if he can get away with it, it will give him a small advantage. The thing is, already Solar starting up the third hatchery, and I mean, this is kind of a interesting one, because when you do skip straight up to Roaches, the problem is players know how to play against it so well nowadays, and they know, okay, I'm going to take my third hatchery earlier, I'm going to make sure you don't take your own third hatchery, I know just to go straight into Roaches, not overmake Zerglings or anything, not try and punish this. As you're just going to be seeing the Carapace upgrade once again from Solo, so he wants to keep the Lings kind of strong in the early game while pushing up towards a set of Roaches later on perhaps. As the lair comes up, we've not seen anything of this Roachron Evo Chamber setup. And if triple gas now taken, maybe Bly is just going to throw down the Spire. No, 6 Roaches start. So it is indeed Roaches, but again, no +1 attack upgrade. And that could be the interesting part of this. So maybe Roach speed and he just goes for an attack. Maybe Nidus still. Maybe he could just Nidus this, and there it is. Nidus Network comes down. Makes the most sense here in the end, I suppose, that Nidus Network will, as it comes up, of course, open access towards harassment into the main base. Very strong timings in which Solar is currently not ready to defend, right? Because he doesn't have a Roach Roaring. He's just getting the Baneling Nest up, and the Ling's currently out of position on the map. This could really hurt for him here. This could really hurt for him here. As you see those Lings pulling back, one Zerglin already picked off here by Bly, and again the creep just continue to push on out. Creep tumors obviously going to be not really, it's always weird in ZVZ whether you take creep or not, because it's one of those things where it's like, well, you know, sometimes the creep's very useful for me and sometimes it just doesn't do anything. In this case, it's going to probably help Bly more than it helps Solar, because he's going to be able to, actually, as he gets the Roaches out of here, move on to creep very easily and start moving between the bases with that speed advantage because his opponent's given him it. Obviously, Solar wants it though because it makes life easier to defend. And here we go, Bly pushes in, and we're going to be seeing a lot of Zerglings right now to fight against this. The Queen's here as well to try and help fight, and we're going to be seeing another Queen and Roach popping out. Bane's coming in could make the difference here, of course, but they go off and not too much splash damage done. That's a bit better splash damage on the last couple, as they do manage to really squeeze their way into the middle of the Roaches there towards the latter stages. Now pushing up this ramp in towards the natural here. Bly still trying to do something, as we're going to be seeing the Queen's desperately going to be part of this defense from Solar. More Roaches coming through from Bly. Feels like he can't get them soon enough, as he still has his Queens, albeit with not really enough energy to transfuse. They are still around, they're still able to add a little bit of something to this fight, but Bly is slowly but surely being picked away. I mean, here come the extra Roaches. Will that make the difference now? I mean, I don't really think so. As you're going to see the Lings coming in again and getting that surround. Queen's still fighting away against this, and again another set of Roaches. It's definitely not over yet. There's still some possibilities here. He did get Roach speed in the end, so he has that possibility of moving a lot faster with the Roaches than he might usually expect. And does he jump back into the Nidus? Does he feel he's done enough? He's on equal workers, but down at base, I think he definitely needs to do more. As you're going to see one Queen already picked off. The second Queen goes down quickly as well. And now we just see those Roaches are still just back and forth. Bly does not want to give this up. He really needs to break Solar here because he can just see, again, the lack of a hatchery. That's an investment which is going to slow him down. He also lacks upgrades as well moving forwards. We see those Banes starting to connect and bringing those Roaches down to lower health. Makes it so much easier for those Zerglings to shut down. Suddenly the Roach numbers are dropping kind of quickly. And Solar get enough up, though. He's still down in supply by about, or army supply especially, by about 20. As Roach is moving forwards, the Queen gets picked off once again. You're going to see another Baneling getting taken down too. These drones joining the fight. Is going to be seeing another couple of Queens going to be going down. So 2 more Queens picked off. I'm just going to be seeing these drones also disappearing. Bly Seems to have done enough here. He seems to have broken through. I mean, his army supply is grown. He's stabilizing on this side of the map. And Solar just does not have enough. Bly is able to tie up the series 1-1 against Solar. And we are not just going to have a clean sweep here today. We're guaranteed 4 maps once again. Alright, tied up 1-1. Quick 2-minute break from us. And when we come back, our third game to see who goes on to match point in the ZVZ. Some aggressive games so far. We'll see how it continues straight after this. God damn, my stream is like a minute behind, and it keeps lagging out to be a minute behind again every time. So I keep being a little bit late on the break. So apologies for that, guys. Thank you very much to a new subscriber as well, Brian Hill 12, coming in with a sub during that last game. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the fresh new sub. Thank you so much for the subscription. Let's jump into game 3 of this series. It's tied up 1-1 between Bly and Solar here. Well, I kind of want to hear from you guys who you think is going to take this one. Now, I mean, okay, you know, I think Solar was definitely a heavy favorite coming into this, and I still think Solar's going to be able to clutch this one out. I mean, his ZVC's looked monstrous lately, taking down Scarlet and a laser in online events, 3-0 Snoot yesterday. I mean, he's playing Bly, who definitely can catch him off guard with a Nidus network here or there. But, I think Solar is still going to take this, but let me know if you think differently. Let me know if you agree in the chat. We have to the bottom left-hand side the the yellow Zerg player. Oh my god, this is going to be really terrible. This is Solar. This is going to be really bad because I think the colors are going to tint in a way that's going to make it very difficult to tell which player is which color, as Bly is in the top right-hand side of the map. So, hatch gas pool appears here once again, or not gas from Solar. Oh man, this is going to get confused, isn't it? Like, even the overlords are the same color. This map has a very weird kind of lighting effect, which kind of makes everything kind of faded and like grayscaled a little bit. But I don't think it's going to work too well for the ZVZ. I just didn't really think about this. Red versus yellow was working fine in the previous maps, but now it might be a very different story But we'll try our best, guys. Sorry. Straight up. As we are just going to be setting up into this. What's up, Brennan Dybee? Oh, Brennan Deep coming in with the Twitch Prime sub as well. Thank you so much for subscribing with your Twitch Prime. And using it here on the channel does go a long way to supporting. And it does help a lot. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it. Let's see some love in the chat for another couple of subs that have been coming in the last few, or the last half hour or so. As Queen's coming in from both players here on Lost and Found, a map by Zweck gives you this setup of just being able to kind of run around and run through the center of the map, etc. Kind of, it's an interesting one that we really haven't seen a longer game on still. I feel as though out of all the games, we really have just seen super short ones on this. It's been very all-in-y, very aggressive. And honestly, it might stay that way with Solar and Bly playing here, especially Bly. He's been playing a mix of builds so far, obviously that now just attacking game number 2 and the, well, attempt to Mutalisk in game 1. Neither has led to very long games just yet in this series. Remember that after this series we do have one final matchup for you guys today, which is Innovation versus Mana. Best of 5. Mana comes in as a replacement for Björn. Mana finished 3rd place in the group which Björn did advance out of, and Björn didn't decide to cancel the day to play in a different event. And that is the reason that he is not here right now. I think Soul's going to take this as an improvement in the chat. Maybe Bly can do some weird thing and take another game, but not the series. As we already see Bly, Lair, Rotro, and Evo Chambers at the front, looking so similar to the last game. I wonder if he just tries the same thing twice in a row and just tries to catch Soul off guard, who is playing differently. Played without gas for quite some time here, which means he has a bit of a better eco, but will take the double gas now to catch him up with Ling Speed or so if he wants Ling Speed. He might just go straight into Rotro and Evo Chamber and actual Roach play. Generally, it's the way that it used to be. When you skipped the gas early, you went into double gas later. And then you would just get your Roach roaring up and you just go straight to Roaches. And it was kind of abusable because if your opponent got Ling Speed, they could take a faster 3rd hatchery. But because neither player got Ling Speed here, it means that neither of them really have the reason, well, neither of them really have a reason to delay the 3rd hatch, but maybe neither of them know that they can take a faster 3rd hatch as well at the moment. As we're going to see these couple of Queens picking off those Zerglings there at the front. Also, one missile so far along here from Bly. That's one of the benefits he has because he mined gas from the start and just didn't start Ling Speed. He has the lair up already, right? So he's on a bit of a head start on the +1. He's got a bit of a head start on the Roach speed, and that's going to be very beneficial for him. As we do see the couple of Queens here able to target down this Overlord, and it does get picked off. So that Overlord going down, solo of a nice snipe there. That's just going to be seen. Those units gathering together out the front. It's just going to be seeing the 3rd hatchery on the right side. It's going to be taken by both actually, 3rd hatch here and a 3rd hatch there. Both of these players begin to expand at a similar time. I mean, again, it's just weird because Bly's going to have the Roach speed. Look at how he's hiding it as well, though, by the way. Hiding his Roaches in the back, and he's going to move across the map now. With Roach speed on his side, he's got that +1 advantage to the Overseer's. Just going to see it here, perhaps, in a second. Okay, yeah, he definitely sees it. So Solo knows what's up. He did just start another round of drones. Now he's going to go right back into Roach production. Let's see if it's going to work out. Again, I mean, Bly, even if he's only even or just a bit ahead in army supply, he also has the +1 attack upgrade for a little bit. That might be enough to swing momentum into his favor. Let's see if it is. Obviously, the defensive position from Solo does have advantages too. He's going to have the Queens, he's going to have the short reinforcement distance, and those are immediately big positives. You can just see right away here, Bly does not have enough to actually take that fight. Cannot commit in, and instead has to pull back around the top side and attack in towards the 3rd hatch instead. Roaches are still able to push away here. In the end, I guess yellow versus red Roaches aren't the most terrible of things on this map. Might have been a lot worse if we actually had Ling Bane against Ling Bane. That could have been a true disaster. As we see Bly going straight into +2 missiles. So will Solar, who should be heading towards... He actually does have his Roach speed up, so he's had his lair finish for just a little while now. I may have been incorrect in saying he didn't have it previously when he did. But it was definitely much faster lair from Bly, and that's why he had that Roach speed earlier. Nonetheless, as we are going to be seeing. Bly still positioning himself. Overseer is coming in and taking that high ground as well, as we see this Overseer from Solar is going to get pushed away by the Queen. So, Queen doing a good job of that. Just trying to deny information. Obviously, Solo wants to pick up info. Keeping overseers alive, if you can get the energy to contaminate, though, could slow down an upgrade later in the game. That could be important. Even if you don't hit the upgrades, the hatchery, slowing down some injects can always make the difference. You never know when that lack of an inject means the lack of a larva to defend the attack. Lurkaden already on the way from Bly. He's been trying to go Lurkaden a couple of games here and there. Looking to play that very macro-focused style of play in the... very macro-focused style of play in the... ZVZ. Lurk has definitely been a big part of the later game scenarios. As you're going to be seeing, well, Solar. The thing is, he's not been taken up at all, and look at his army supply, 120 to 82. I just don't know how he keeps doing this. Time after time after time. Solar is just finding himself in this position where he finds himself ahead on eco for multiple minutes. So he makes more roaches, and he just goes across the map and attacks. And honestly, it was the very simple kind of way in which Snoot kind of lost yesterday. It wasn't that Solar played, I would say, kind of like outplayed him or anything, outsmarted him. Solar just had more stuff all of the time. He just knew when to drone, and because he knew when to drone, he was taking leads, and when he was taking leads, he was playing out those leads as well. So it was a very interesting little scenario. As you see those extra few Ravagers finishing up, and his +2 finishes very soon. Be surprised if Solo didn't go across the map, because he is maxed out. If he can push across now, just before Lurk has finished morphing, he could maybe pick up that victory, put himself onto match point, but he isn't moving. +2's finished, but he's actually just going to invest in a tunneling claws and borrow as well, I imagine, and looks though Solo's just not interested in being aggressive at all. As an overseer here, we'll see those lurkers on the way up. Solo now getting his army into action, moving through the south side. All the way across over to the far right, so I'm going to be looking to do a little bit more here as this Overlord does get sniped down. Obviously the corrosive bars, 4 of them to take down an Overlord, 60 damage each time, 180 health Overlord means it does, sorry, 200 health Overlord means it does need all 4 bars, 180 damage is done by a triple bile. And then you need 20 more to actually kill it, so 4 bars in total. It's a nice little something though, because it slows Bly down, he's supply blocked right now because of it, and there's things like that, which again obviously just puts Solo into more advantages as the game goes on. He's not going to attack this Overlord. I wonder if he just thinks it's his own because of the colours. Honestly, I wouldn't blame him. I could totally get behind that. As you can see, now those corrosive bars coming down on Bly will lose the Overlord, so apparently Solo doesn't think it's his own. And gets in position over here where another Overlord is just sat waiting, so Solo just picking up damage over time. His own Hydralisk Den now begins to stop, but man oh man, is that going to take a long time to finish. By the time that does finally come up here, that's just going to be so... It's so difficult to imagine how that's going to be... I just feel there's going to be such a long time until lurkers are out here from Solar. We're talking an entire 2 minutes away still. 86 seconds build time in the lurk den plus 20 seconds morph time. It's basically 2 minutes still, and well, he's going to have to fight without lurkers for that time, or survive without lurkers for that long. Right now, Bly's defending well. Lurkers over here and lurkers over there. Couple corrosive bars and a little push in initially does get a couple of kills, but it's definitely not going to be efficiency unless he gets, again, Lurker's fighting over his own. This is when ZVZ gets a little bit weird, because look, if his Lurker clearly isn't very kind of exciting, or I guess not even exciting, but like it's just not very dynamic. So you're going to see some run-bys starting to happen. Bly is already across the map as well. We're going to put Bly's run-by on the picture-in-picture, which is starting to pick off the third hatchery here, as Solo's roaches are actually already being forced to burrow once again. Such a pretty good shutdown as Bly will just get this hatchery over on this side. He gets a couple of drones on the very end as well, perhaps, but man, just killing the hatchery, well, that is nice. Solo does have another 4th base coming up, and I guess that'll keep him kind of around. As in the end, Bly maybe lost a few too many roaches there to justify just killing the hatch. I was going to see these roaches are going to pop up again, and well, does he outnumber this roach fight here? No, not really. So he drops back down underground. The upgrades are now even 2-1 apiece. As that Spire's still coming up from Bly. I'm just going to be seeing Solo again, ready to, well, try and attack in again, but maybe it's time to throw down an infestation rate. Maybe it's time to go towards the hive tech here. Going towards the Vipers, maybe that's just what he needs to actually be able to fight through this. Those Vipers, they can add abduct into the equation, they can abduct those lurkers in, they can unburrow them because of it, or you can blinding cloud as well to minimize where the lurkers can attack from. That generally forces them to lift up and relocate too.
which also is your chance to maybe jump on them and to clean them out nice and quickly.
A few more Ravagers finished down here to the south side, and that's going to be seeing still the opportunity perhaps to move on through here. Oh, those Lurkers move in time for Bly to keep them alive against the Biles. Another couple of bars. This time Bly doesn't see it in time, although he does get his Ravagers jumped on top of Solar. Bly's able to get a few of those Ravager kills and doesn't lose many Roaches in the process. Bly coming across the map once more, but Solar sees it coming, so he should begin to be prepared. I mean, what's he got at the moment? Actually, nothing at all at home. Oh man, well, this is going to be a little bit painful. He's actually Solar starting to pull back home right away here. As Bly's going to start working his way through this hatchery, also chasing some drones up to the top side. Just trying to maximize the damage he can deal, as at the same time Lurkers of Bly do defend over on this side, able to push those Roaches away once more. So Bly is still putting himself into good positions at the moment. He's going to be seeing more of these Roaches and Ravagers of Solar continuing to fight away. More Roaches of Bly disappearing, but he's done some damage. He's picked off Solar's economy. Solar's down by 16 workers, and Bly, he's down a bit in army supply, but he's got Lurkers on his side. But the Viper's coming through. Maybe that's what Solar needs to break through the Lurkers no matter what. There's more Roaches running to the third base. I mean, more drones going down, and Solar's economy is really starting to be in shambles now. 39 workers to the 65. We're almost talking about double the worker counts. As Bly, when did the mutas come out? Oh my god, I mean, talk about catching me off guard. Never mind Solar. He had a few Hydras coming through, and he's building more now as these mutas come into play, and he's actually going to start getting a lot done. I mean, for these Roach attacks in the last few moments, he's been shutting down a lot of the units here and there, which goes a long ways. Obviously, the Burrow is actually saving our Yellow Zerg players' units for the moment. And we've seen a couple of Queens here, which he's going to come in and attack into. He misses a Transfuse Solar, and now he will start to hit those Transfusions of the Mutalisks, and maybe not doing quite enough. More Roaches on the way up. Gonna find himself a Viper here. That should be a Transfuse, though. Surely there's a Transfuse nearby, but he doesn't quite get it. Solar making some mistakes of his own, as Bly really just doing all sorts here, as again the Lurker's still in position, and Solar for the second or third time finds himself unable to push through that location. Very, very unfortunately. More of these Roaches coming through the south side, and we are going to see Roaches, Ravagers, and Hydras of Solar coming in to fight against this as well. And we've seen the mutas back over here do find themselves an Overseer at the very least, and I just have to apologize for not seeing the Spire and the mutas in the production tab at all. Just so much else going on in the map at the same time. We're going to be seeing more Hydras now coming up as well here from Bly. You can see the Groove Spines on the way, so he's continuing to improve his Hydras. Initially, those Hydras were all about getting the Lurkers on the map. Obviously, now it's a very different scenario. As actually seen these Hydras able to fight back a little bit. Bly has to pull back with his mutas. How many on the map still? He has 13. That's a lot of Hydras from Solar with 2-1 upgrades. Don't think 13 mutas can really fight for now, though he will find an Overlord on his way out through the south side. And there's still these Burrowed Roaches over here. If he gets an Overseer with this army, these mutas are going to start getting so much more done. 15 minutes in, it's another set of harassment to the top side, although it won't last forever. Spinecrawler already chipping away. The Roaches and Ravagers are quick to come in and respond as well, so those Roaches are going to go down, and now mutas up into the main, pulls the Hydras over there, and Bly's keeping Solar on his own side of the map. Not just on his own side of the map, but inside his own bases. We're going to see these Lurkers burrow just as Roaches run forwards. Disaster strikes for Solar. Bly kills off so many Roaches here, and all of a sudden, Bly really does maybe have control of this game well and truly. Mutas are going to pick away a couple of Roaches at the front of this army as the Hydras are out of range. Now Bly's just coming across the map with his entire ground army, looking for a fight here. I'm going to burrow those Lurkers there, but maybe he just wants to rotate around to this south side and push into this fourth base. That would be a huge deal, as he's going to get the Lurker Den of Solar, perhaps? I mean, he should definitely kill it before Digging Claws or Adaptive Talents finishes now. And he does get that kill, so he denies that. Solar gets a few Lurkers on the way up, but, I mean, they're just morphing, and are they going to be able to morph in time? Man, the Lurker Den, 86 seconds to rebuild that. That's going to take what feels like an eternity to rebuild. As you do see a couple Lurkers going down as they get into this top side spot. We're going to be seeing, though, Bly is using it as a chance to push on forwards, as you're going to see the mutas back down to the south, picking their way through so very much here. Another couple of Overlords going down. Now these Hydras taking some damage as well. Is there just too many Mutilas? Well, the Parasitic Bombs are huge. He splits away. I'm not even sure. I think he dropped a Parasitic Bomb on the Mutilas, which actually then got targeted by the Hydras, so it died before the Parasitic Bomb became active. Because I'm pretty sure he dropped 2 there. As we're going to be seeing the Lurkers now making their way up into this position. And oh, well, Bly doesn't actually have an Overseer here. So this is going to be messy for him. He's going to lose quite a lot. He still has some of the legs to the right side staying alive though as the Muta's back in overhead on the 4th phase. Drones going down once again. Hydras are still trying to push through this position. The Blinding Clouds miss initially. These Hydras are still doing what they can, picking away at some of those Vipers if they can get themselves on top of them for long enough. Muta's there, pick off the hatchery, and Solar just doesn't have enough, and Bly takes the lead in this series. He's 1 map away from the semi-finals. And what an upset that would be here in our quarters if Bly was able to take this. Alright, well, it's our 4th map coming up, and it is going to be Travancore. So we're going to jump into this in just a moment. So let's get that set up and ready to go. Alright. We are going to be in-game momentarily, guys. Travancore to continue our series. Map 4 of this best of 5. Bly on match point. Solar looking to take us to an ace game and to keep his tournament hopes alive. Alright, get our casters in and we should just be a few moments away from getting this started. I just have to give the players a slight piece of information about this map. Alright, we're getting into this, guys. We do have a couple of shout-outs to make once again. I think we shouted out Brunnen Deep, who came in at the start of that game. Tacker Stuff with the Cheer 10 as well, though. Thank you so much. As well as KMXSSE2 with the Cheer 100 in the chat. Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you very much as we get ready to go into game number 4. Travancore, if our players are ready. Let's see what happens here as we get this started. Let's see what's going to go down. ZVZ action as Solo was so we just talked to Solo a little bit there, and that's why it took a moment or two to jump into this. I was talking to Solo because he was actually saying he just couldn't figure out his units on the last map because of the colors of the map. So a little bit of feedback on the map. Just straight up simply said, map's not too bad, just god damn, I cannot see my units for the life of me. I don't even know what's going on. It is confusing. Honestly, I feel it's difficult to watch. I've been talking to some of the other casters who think it's kind of fine. They think it's kind of nice. As we get into this one, we better talk about these builds because it's going to be aggressive from the get-go here on Travancore. To the top right-hand side, our yellow Zerg player from Splice. It is Solar. And to the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player from Team Expert. Bly. Yeah, I had a great moment in that last game where I missed the Mullers and they showed up. But isn't that what everyone wants? They want no production tab like Brood War had, and so it was all a surprise. Suddenly Mullers is like, whoa, the hype! It was pretty sick though. It was pretty sick as we get into this game. Number 4 here, Solar versus Bly. Remember, after this we still have Innovation versus Mana to bring you guys. Another best of 5 series to wrap up our quarterfinals. The winner of this series right now, Solar or Bly, will go up against Nurse Sue in the semifinals, while Nurture will be awaiting the winner of Innovation or Mana. As we get set up into this is a 12 pool into gas, so Bly is already looking to play, well, not completely all in, because he actually saves up enough minerals to get the hatchery despite 12 pool and gas. Wow, how very interesting. So he will get Ling Speed despite the hatch. Wow, I wonder if this is some sort of build that's going to throw Solar off if he sees that hatchery. I mean, he's going to see these initial Lings now, so he knows about the 12 pool. Solar, fortunately for himself, did go pool first, so already a bit of a build order advantage on his side. As you do see, those Zerglings going to be arriving into the natural in the next couple of moments. That's going to be seeing a couple of drones pulling down to the low ground as well to fight this a little bit, as we do see the rest of the Lings just arriving and going to continue pushing on towards this. And again, as that overload comes across, it really doesn't look as though it's going to be a setup which includes Ling speed, but maybe that's Bly's plan. Maybe that's where he catches Solar off guard, and maybe that's where he gets the damage done to make up for what has currently been no damage at all, because the 12 pool from Solar really has just become the hard counter here in game number 4. So far, Bly has not achieved anything, but he's stacking up more Lings. The plan is to keep these hidden, to flood them across the map all at once, so Solar has very little chance to actually see what's going on. You can see already here Solar is building drones. He's setting up in towards a more macro-focused game, as Bly pulls all the way back here at the moment. You'll see the rest of those Zerglings going to continue coming down, and I'm going to see this skirmish very soon perhaps, as again that Ling speed's going to be finishing up. I'm just going to be seeing still Zerglings and Solar out in the center. Bly, though, I mean, now he's about to get Ling speed. He's about to run across the map. He's using this Queen to poke back the Overlord a bit to try and hide what's happening. And he wants to go across here as soon as possible. And Solar does have the Spine Crawler behind this. And he does have a little bit of a wall up. And oh, the Lings are just going to block here for the moment or two. And that's going to be good enough, as this Queen's still pushing this Overlord away. Bly, his dive, this all-in attempt is maybe just going to fall apart because of this wall off. How do you break this? 12 drones behind this on Bly. He's 10 workers down. There's a Rotoron's on the way as well. Do you break this? Well, obviously Bly thinks you do. He's making more Zerglings. He's going to go for this in the next couple of moments. The Rotoron of Solar is just about to finish. And as it finishes up, we're going to be seeing more Lings of Solar coming out, though. And now you can build some Roaches, too. There's really no way Bly surely breaks this down. And he doesn't even have a Baneling Nest to utilize here, as he's transferred all of his drones to the low ground. I don't really know why he did that, but well, maybe we'll see soon. He's still stacking up more Lings. Again, maybe just making it look as though he only has this out here right now. Maybe trying to get Solar to overcommit when he feels a bit more confident, like he just maybe did there. Moving forwards a little bit at that point. Lings having to be careful as the Queen's attacking those Lings once again with another shot or two. The Lair is on the way up here as well from Solar. By the way, this map based on a Diablo theme, Travancore, and is got a treasure goblin on it because of that. An Avex map as well, by the way, the creator of Blackpink, the winner of the last 2 map contests. And still poking around as Bly. How long do you mass up Lings for before you just commit into it? I don't know. Couple of Roaches starting to come out, and Bly's just going to pull away. But again, when do you actually commit in towards this attack? When do you fully just go for the dive in? It's going to come out to the map now. This Overseer, because it's Morven, doesn't have the vision, so we are going to see the Lings able to get across here. And as they come all the way through the top side, and just going to be seeing the Queen working its way through the Overseer. He looks as though, I mean, he's just realized it, right? Solar. He's making another Evo chamber to complete the wall off just in case he needs more. And we're going to see Lings already jumping into this. I mean, the rest of the Lings are about to arrive. There's one Ling blocking the door at the moment to just hold this off. And now the rest of the Lings holding it off as well. Queens have transfused energy. I mean, that Spinecrawler just will not go down. He'll dive the main base. Obviously, the Spinecrawler is not. But now it's difficult to reinforce. And those drones just pull away. As we're going to be seeing these Roaches all continue to fight away onto this. And again, Lings with that full surround, able to keep on working their way through. The Roaches taking so much damage. As we see drones getting back in towards the top side of this. And Bly's going to type out GG, because he knows it's not enough. Travancore goes the way off Solar. And we are working our way up here, apparently. From a 3-0 in our first quarterfinal to a 3-1 in our second. And now we're going to have a 3-2. To who? We don't know just yet. We've got a couple of shout-outs to make as well, though. So we're going to be back in just a quick moment or two, guys. A quick break, a couple of shout-outs.